Alrighty, welcome to episode 93 of Tocqua's Ask Us Anything. As usual, it's been a pretty busy news week. In what appears to be a controversial move, the Standard & Poor's 500 Environmental, Social and Governance Index has removed Tesla in its latest rebalancing round. S&P explains some of the reasons for Tesla's demotion as, first and foremost, the GICS industry group, automobiles and components, in which Tesla is assessed, experienced an overall increase in its average S&P DJI ESG score. So while Tesla's S&P DJI ESG score has remained fairly stable year over year, it was pushed further down the ranks relative to its global industry group peers. A few of the factors contributing to its 2021 S&P DJI ESG score were a decline in criteria level scores related to Tesla's lack of low carbon strategy and codes of business conduct. Tesla's demotion from the S&P ESG index has been roundly criticised across the board, including by ARK Invest's Cathie Wood, who called it ridiculous, and Elon Musk, who labelled it an outrageous scam. Twitter has rebuked Elon Musk's statement of his Twitter purchase being on hold due to doubt over its proportion of fake or spam accounts. Twitter stated that the board and Mr. Musk agreed to a transaction at $54.20 per share. We believe this agreement is in the best interest of all shareholders. We intend to close the transaction and enforce the merger agreement. Twitter last closed below $36, implying shareholders are skeptical of Twitter's statement and clearly believe Twitter's purchase will not proceed or will do so at a greatly discounted price. Tesla investor Kogwan Leo, who is its third largest individual shareholder behind Elon Musk and Oracle founder Larry Ellison, has called for Tesla to take advantage of its currently suppressed share price by buying back some of those shares using surplus cash reserves. Tesla's share price in the low 600s is about half that of the last 12 months' highs. Kogwan suggested Tesla immediately buy back $5 billion of Tesla shares and a further $10 billion next year. All the funds required would come from Tesla's substantial free cash flow and not affect its current capital expenditure program nor its $18 billion cash reserves. In a move that enhances the ability of owners to maintain their own cars, Tesla has opened up its service manuals, parts manuals, and service bulletins for all models at zero cost for annual subscriptions. Indonesia is rumoured to host a gigafactory with vehicle and battery production facilities, according to Indonesia's investment minister Bahlil Lahadalia, who stated, "God willing, Tesla will enter Indonesia this year, but I can't announce the month yet. Let's wait, because we haven't signed an agreement yet. How much investment is still being kept secret, still waiting. But this is good stuff, big stuff." This statement comes days after Elon Musk hosted Indonesia's President Joko Widodo for high-level discussions at SpaceX's launch site in Boca Chica, Texas. In a classic case of being wary of what you wish for and fate-loving irony, Elon Musk's past quip about his desired naming of any future controversy involving him being called Elongate, his prophecy has been unexpectedly fulfilled with revelations that Musk allegedly indecently assaulted a SpaceX flight attendant in 2016, leading to a $250,000 settlement made in 2018. Tesla's Shanghai Gigafactory has been reported as having commenced a second shift today, which is planned to resume its production rate to pre-shutdown levels. With a 6-day working week and a daily production of 2,600 units, Shanghai's weekly production is expected to reach about 16,000 cars. In a move that demonstrates its ongoing commitment to customer service, Tesla has expanded its Perth service centre opening hours to include Saturdays between 8 a.m. and noon. While providing owners with greater appointment scheduling flexibility, the expansion of operating hours also enables Tesla to increase service capacity without having to incur capital expenditure. SpaceX has now launched a pay-as-you-go Starlink service, which it is marketing as an ideal solution for owners of caravans and RVs, which may only be used sporadically. Subscribers of this new service can purchase internet access in 1-month lumps, in much the same way as Tesla owners can purchase premium connectivity for their cars. This more flexible service does, however, come at a $35 premium to the standard $139 monthly subscription cost. And that was this week's news. And there we go. So a pretty big news week all around with some a lot of local developments, including the Indonesia, potential gigafactory, or certainly at least a battery production facility. Oh, and also there was a little matter of a general election that was held on Saturday, with the ALP basically forming government either in a minority or majority sense. That's not yet known. So there are some interesting developments to come along with their EV policy, which we'll get into a little bit later. But before we do that, if there's anyone new, please do pipe up and say hello. Just looking here, I think most people are actually, Lance, I think you're new, so you may like to introduce yourself if you like.
Got food in his mouth.
Oh, yes, that's right. Maybe perhaps a little bit later, Lance. We'll get you to do that a bit later on. But yeah, so obviously, basically, a pretty busy news week.
Actually, Harold, there was
Yes,
a story that missed. Although it's not news to ask us anything, but it was news to the rest of the world, obviously, because you broke it last week.
What news could that possibly be, Pete? Says me with a mischievous question mark.
So the expansion of the rollout of the superchargers being open to non-Tesla vehicles in 5 European countries.
So
Austria,
yes, then
Sweden,
that,
UK.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we just take a little look at last week's program, we'll have to wade through the first 2 hours. No, not really. Superchargers. Oh, it's in Dutch, but anyway, this is superchargers for non-Teslas, and you can actually see. So what you can actually see here. Whoops, it's in. Oh, sorry. Oh, what? I just got to go and rewind a little bit, and this is going to take just a moment or two. But basically, we broke the fact that Spain, much of France, and the UK, and the Netherlands, and Austria,
and Belgium.
Oh, what? And Belgium. The UK's on it as well. Cool. And I'll just turn myself off there.
And Sweden.
Then also Sweden, which we actually broke without actually knowing it. Well, no, actually, to be honest, look, Elon gave me a buzz because Elon loves the show, and he thought he'd humorously give us a hot tip without us realizing it, and he asked us to sort of be on the down low about it. And then about 6 hours later, Tesla tweeted it out and explained that that's what they were doing. So yeah, thanks for reminding me about that, Pete. It just goes to prove that Ask Us Anything breaks the news before everyone else.
You're ahead of the curve, Harold.
Yeah, very much so ahead of the curve, Pete. Although I'm kind of behind your curve because you've already been on the curve, and most of us are well behind Alex's curve because I don't know, is that called a dromedary camel? Which is the one with the 2 humps? Because he's had 2 curves. But yeah, thanks, Pete. Any other news that might have happened? Actually, there are quite a few bits of news that we sort of left out of the formal news. Anything else you can think of, Pete?
The 9,000 gigapress.
Oh, yes.
IDA or IDRA, IDRA.
IDRA. Yeah, that's right. So in about 3 weeks' time, IDRA are holding their so-called Open Day, although it's an invitation-only event for the unveiling of their 9,000-ton gigapress. And as you can see in some of the publicity photos of it actually being assembled, you can see that it's in actual Tesla white and red colours. So hopefully it's actually perhaps the gigapress that will be pumping out bodies for the Cybertruck, which would be pretty awesome.
Yay! Also, some 2 new supercharger stations opening up in America. Santa Monica Boulevard is going to have the diner, and there's a new 100-bay one halfway between LA and Las Vegas. We could do one of those in Perth, couldn't we?
Yes.
It's going to be the biggest one in the US. in the Mojave Desert.
Yeah, it's amazing to think that there's a potential. I don't even know what 100 times 250 is, but it's a lot. I think it's 25 megawatts. In fact, it is. It's 25 megawatts of potential power that will be erupting out of that one car park, which is pretty amazing to think of. And obviously, as per Tesla's policy, all of that energy will be from renewable energy sources or offset to renewable energy, which is fantastic. Has anyone got any questions? Oh, sorry, go Pete.
I was just going to say the biggest news for me, but it's not really news because it's old news or known about it for 5 years. Elon has stated that by this time next year, he expects the cars to be full self-driving to the point where a human's not required behind the wheel. But I believe him again this time.
Pete, you are a true believer, and look, there's too few of you around, to be honest.
They're dropping like flies.
No,
look, I believe
it will be here, Pete. It will be here in 2 weeks.
I believed it.
Key, Harold.
How
Go.
long do you think all that'll take? 2 weeks?
I believed it back in October 2016 when I'd already ordered my Model X and it hadn't even been built yet. And Tesla did the big reveal on Autopilot 2. And Elon said that by the end of the next year, so the end of 2017, there'd be a car driven between was it LA or San Francisco, one or the other, and New York. And then the next year he said it would be the year after, and then next year he said it would be the year after that. A little bit like the Perth supercharger that came year after year after year. But hey, Pete, I mean, look, one day, like all hypochondriacs that think they're going to die of an illness, they will be right eventually. So let's hope we're around to see.
At the moment, I'd just be happy with the software update so that my autopilot actually bloody works. I had to drive back from Bunbury yesterday without any cruise control, without any autopilot. I actually had to hold the steering wheel and concentrate. It was terrible.
Oh,
Right.
Oh no!
no.
What's wrong with your car, mate?
Flowers are on their way.
When I got here and then I went out again, it was fine. But of course, the whole way back with a few stops.
Were you in autopilot jail?
Yes.
You can just stop and press park and then start again.
Yeah, no, it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
Several times until I got home. Yeah, then it worked.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Well, I had my car in at service on Monday. I got a new windscreen put in on the Model X. So they mustn't have had one in stock because they had a 2-week delay to get one from the eastern states, and it took pretty much 4 or 5 hours for them to do it, and then afterwards had to recalibrate autopilot again. So the removal and reinstallation of the radar camera. But yeah, so it is a pricey windscreen, although the insurance covers it under my comprehensive. $100 excess.
How much was the actual windscreen itself, Damon? Have you seen the actual invoice?
Yeah, I got saw the invoice. It was $2,000 all up. That was including labour.
Yes,
That's all right, actually.
Yep.
Because the Model 3 one's $1,400.
Oh, really?
Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that including labour?
I think so. Because I was thinking the Model X is so huge that it'd be even way more, but it's not.
So I had a stone chip in there from a couple of weeks ago from a truck going down south, and anyway, the chip turned into a crack, and so I went to put some heavy duty tape behind it just to try and stop it from cracking any further. And while I was pushing the tape on, I actually saw the crack get bigger. So not sure what's happening with the laminate in the windscreen or anything like that, but yeah, I actually could physically, and then when I got it to service, I pushed on behind it again, and it got even bigger with me. I didn't want to do it again before actually getting it to the service center. Yeah, so it didn't shatter, obviously, but I could actually push on it and the crack could get bigger from the
But
inside.
you're pushing on the inside.
That's right.
Oh, that's the classic eggshell. That's, you know, from the outside, it's still very tough, but
Yeah,
from the
that's
inside,
right.
it's just lost its integrity.
Yeah,
Well,
I
at
had no
least for the
problem
crack.
traveling at highway speed. So I did another whole trip down south at highway speeds with it cracked. No issues.
Yeah, exactly. So did they happen to order 2 windscreens when you got yours, or I guess?
I didn't know about. Did someone else smash there or crack theirs?
Oh no, I mean, it'd be nice to think that there might be a spare windscreen for all the models.
I would have thought they would have had at least just one Model X possibly, and then a couple Model 3s, obviously. But the fact that they had to delay my service appointment a couple of weeks to get it from over east. Yeah. And I did have a loaner car booked in for the Monday, but they called me up on Friday, said the loaner car has been in an accident. Sorry, it's not going to be available. So whoever's unfortunately had the loaner car has caused some damage on it, or inadvertently been in an accident with someone else. I don't know what the cause is yet. What's going on?
Yeah, right. Let's hope it's not off the road for too long, because there's obviously no replacements available yet, because there are no cars coming into WA until next quarter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's hope that gets back on the road so people can still do their test drives, even though, of course, as we know, cars won't be available for another 9 months, or basically into next year.
I couldn't get too much information out of them. It's like keeping their cards close to their chest is like asking, "Oh, what's wrong with it? How long before it's available again?" It's just trying to get all that information. You can't get anything out. It's like, when's the Model Y coming to Australia? Yeah, right.
It'll come when it arrives. Let's just say there are certainly people in Australia that know about it, but yeah. Anyway,
I'm going to say the website will crash when it actually comes.
I don't know, because I reckon so many people have website loggers for detecting the change in the web page that it's almost like a denial of service attack, just 24/7, with people just having computers hitting refresh every 30 seconds to see, when the order page opens. But like we said last week, maybe we should definitely, I forget when we said, either the 1st or 2nd of July, have an early Ask Us Anything just to see, because you never know.
I'm off to England. I've booked a test drive in a right-hand drive Model Y for next week. I'm taking all my vlogging cameras with me, and I'm going to stick them up and drive the thing.
I hope the autopilot fails on you, Nigel.
Thank you very much.
So Nigel, is that next Wednesday afternoon?
No, it's after Wednesday, I'm afraid. I don't get there till Wednesday morning. So I've booked it for Thursday because I just couldn't wait that much longer.
So you're going to the Perth Supercharger in the UK just to rub it in even more?
So Nigel, why don't you just after the test drive, you go, right, I'd like to order it, please, and then you give
deliver in Perth, Australia. Thank you. And they'll go, yes, that'll be an extra £30,000 to deliver it there.
Yeah, but Nigel, it'll be worth it.
I'll be the only one.
Yes, indeed.
Didn't know they let old people drive over there in England. I thought it was safe.
Oh, who invited you, Jared? Fuck off.
I thought there'd be only young people over there driving.
Not since the royal family had their crashes.
Oh, okay.
I'm not quite as bad as the old dear Prince Philip was in age.
No, I'm sure that by the time you're 90, Nigel, they'll invite you for a test.
Full self-drive.
That's only a couple of weeks away, Harold.
Well, I mean, Nigel assures me that before he had his non-autopilot incident earlier, he actually had a full head of hair, and the fear and frustration of having to concentrate on driving a car it all just went instantly. All right. Any other questions or comments anyone's got at this stage? We've got lots of other little pieces of news to do, but always looking for something else.
Yeah, I'm a bit sick and tired of. I bought them on the last down dip at $700.39, and it's now $628. I'm losing money. It's terrible.
You only lose money when you sell it.
That's
Just
right.
Keep it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's funny because last week, Carmen was talking about possibly buying some shares, and I think she was proposing at about $700, and we sort of said, and Pete, I think, actually said, don't go on the whole amount, just go a little bit higher. And then I think I piped up and said, how about $701? And of course, later that night, Tesla hit $700.86, I think it was, or 89 cents or 88 cents. So she would have been in by the skin of her teeth, which would have been a perfect buy-in, just like yours was, Nigel.
Yeah, but it's now 628 or something. I'm a bit peed off with Elon. I think he should stop messing around with Twitter, stop messing around with his hostesses, stop messing around.
Allegedly.
Stop messing around with the legal department. And
Hey, Nigel.
No, I need him to keep going for the next month or so, and then I can buy the next lot.
Go, Pete.
Right. But that wasn't Elon. That was his double banger.
The agent got bad joke.
Oh, did you say
Yeah.
doppelganger or doppelbanger?
Banger.
I think it was
banger,
banger.
Banger.
The banger.
It's not even 8 o'clock and it's gone to shit already. Wasn't amazing?
Oh, this is champagne. Ask us anything if you ask me. Speaking of Elon's doppelganger, I will bring him up presently as soon as I scroll down. So feel free to talk amongst yourselves for a moment or two.
I've got with the latest update on your phone, 4.9, under the service part of it, when you click on that, it'll show you the latest recalls and where you're at in that sort of thing. So you can just click on that.
Except it doesn't show any at the moment, so it doesn't show a placeholder, does it? So the fact that it's not showing anything.
Here, I'll show you. For mine, it does.
Yeah,
Have
mine's
you got
not
a
showing.
recall, Paul?
I'm a Model 3, so service. I'll click on service. See? So it'll show that.
So what's the thing? Sorry, rear. What's it say?
Rear harness recall.
All right.
So like the trunk, and then it just says it's not available yet or some crap. So
Did that automatically come up, or did you have to click on service?
you click on service, and then all your recalls are at the top, and then it'll let you know where it's at in that. Because if it's automatic like that one, once they have the parts, they'll contact you.
That's the thing going out to your camera, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't
The
got
majority
any
of these
recalls.
recalls are just software updates, though. But
Yeah,
the
this-
media
Yeah,
like to say that.
No, I wasn't saying software. I was saying what's on your app.
Hey, what
on your
version
phone.
software, Paul?
4.9.
It must be iPhone because
Oh, I've got 12.32. Oh, iPhone.
yeah.
No,
You
this
know.
is on Android I've got as well, and it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've
It's-
just went to the Play Store and said update, and it says no, you're stuck at 4.8. Android.
No,
Oh, the Android.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve, you shouldn't be using an Android. You're not old enough. You've got to be over 80.
Oh,
Because
shows
you get confused with the big numbers. They all like.
you're supposed to be in every. Steve, you're supposed to be in every cult. You can't just be in just one.
I've got my glasses on. I use a PC.
Have you
So,
got a pension card? Have you got a discount
I
card? Shopper docket?
Everyone's got a pension card, haven't they? Or a seniors card?
I want to borrow
There,
Nigel's.
Yeah, so mine's on 4.8.1, and I've got the recall section on mine, and this is Android.
I just
I'm on
checked mine and
4.
it wasn't there.
My Apple wants
Yeah,
to
I think
update.
I think it's an iOS Android thing because I'm on version 4.9 on iOS and I don't have it.
Well,
So
I'm updating to 15.5, Pete, on iOS.
I've got
It
4.8.
might have fixed your car or something. So
If you just jump on your app and just go to your wife's car, just in case It's a different.
I was in hers, but I'll go
Oh,
into
right.
mine.
Yep.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's probably, since yours is similar age to mine,
And you can always use
that's
the.
probably where it is. Because it only is
Oh
for
no,
the
it
card.
does come up.
Yeah, no
Oh,
shit.
Fuck, look at that, eh?
Yeah, the China cars don't need it.
Yeah, that's right.
No, it popped up on mine.
Yeah.
But I'll go back into hers again and see if it comes up there.
Because it only pertains to the car,
Yeah,
not-
so it's
yeah,
only
not
if
for the models. If there's not a
Yeah.
recall for your car, it's not going to pop up.
Yep.
Yeah,
You don't want to see recall.
yeah.
Just
No, it's not
working?
cool.
No, it's not working.
It's not cool to see recall.
Yeah, oh well.
No, so
And
Steve, that's
how
because
is-
you've
how
got a
is-
Chinese Model 3,
Yes.
and it's only the Fremont ones that have got issues.
Yeah.
Yep.
that
So
one.
it's not, doesn't even say no recalls. It's just seems to be
Blank.
blank.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll only pop up if there is one for your car.
Yeah, that's it.
Ah, no news is
Um,
good news.
How's
Yes.
Pete Grills going these
Sorry.
days? Cousin of Bear Grylls. He's looking like he's got out of COVID, and come back with a fur coat on his face. Haven't seen anything like that since the 80s.
Somebody was said it's his vaccination he got.
It's a side effect.
You're supposed to get Pfizer, not testosterone injection.
Yeah,
Oh. That's where I went wrong.
Speaking of someone that doesn't look like they've got a testosterone injection, this is Musk's doppelganger, or possibly his doppelbanger, right here.
So cool, man.
It's allegedly not fake.
Not a deep fake.
Or a deep fake. It could be a deep fake. But
You work in the Cheyenne factory, the guy on the right.
well, yes, exactly. So that's Musk's doppelbanger. So there you go. Now, one piece of news that did come out last week, I didn't bother to actually put it up because it was kind of wrong, and that was this sort of whiny article about some Tesla customers are now expecting a 2-year wait for their new Model X.
Oh,
And it
And
mentions
the Model
some,
Y.
well, yeah, but it's got
Yeah.
Joe Redinger and the kilowatts, and poor little Kimmy Java.
oh,
You know,
I
it's
know what
going to
a
be,
fifth Tesla or something.
well, that'll be a 2-year wait before their early 2021 order delivers.
He's only got a few more years doing
And then
Uber
we've got
Eats.
Eric, who's waiting a similar 2 years. Of course, I happened to order a Model X on the 9th of January last year. That's called early 2021. And we won't see Model X's until deep past the end of next year, if not early the year after. So that's going to be the best part of a 3-year wait.
You'll get your Cybertruck
Plus.
first.
Oof. Actually, I
You know
wouldn't
what?
mind that at all.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me actually.
That would be
You
awesome.
might be right.
Yeah, I reckon you're right.
Titanium Cybertruck? I don't think so.
You could probably
No.
get the semi earlier because that seated position for driving.
That'd be fun.
Yes, but we've got to. Australia has to change its width rules to be 2.55 meters or 2.6 meters, preferably, for the semi to be legal here. But incidentally, Tesla are taking deposits for the semi in the US, so that's a very positive sign that they're going to be starting production next year, as Elon Musk alluded to at the Cyber Rodeo at the Gigafactory in Texas. So yeah, give me a semi or a Cyber any day, and you can have your X if you
Have
want.
you put your $20,000 deposit down?
For
Your semi.
no, you can't order semi in Australia yet. You haven't been able to order it at all ever.
If you
So-
buy at least 20, you can.
No, you can't. It's not that. Oh, well, if you buy 20,
Yeah.
And then sell 19. Hey. But not reselling it because Tesla doesn't like that.
yes, that's true. But
How does that work? 20. How's that work?
Pre-order.
no, it doesn't. You can't pre-order in Australia.
Well, if you're a company, you'll go through different avenues. Buy a whole fleet wide. You wouldn't go through the normal click on the
Yes.
web page style. You'd contact
Yeah.
them directly.
But I don't know. Have you heard any news reports of any companies in Australia actually placing orders, confirmed orders, or
Not yet.
reservations?
Only Yanks and Canadians.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking so far.
Yeah.
But suffice to say, if it ever does, if your order page ever does open, there will be an order placed for sure. Because there'd be nothing better than
Although saying that, didn't Hertz actually have quite a few people clicking the order thing for 100,000 Model 3s and Ys? When Hertz bought 100,000, they actually had a couple of thousand people clicking the order page continually to get that, and they got zero discount, and they had to order one at a time.
I reckon that would be an awesome story to see, but I kind of doubt that. I reckon they would have just had high-level talks with Tesla directly and just placed the order en masse, rather than literally doing individual clicks. I think that's a bit OTT. They would have just simply had a heads of company agreement that just said we want to order 100,000, and as we have now learnt since, many of those 100,000 include Model Ys, so it's not just 100,000 Model 3s.
So,
Cool.
all right, a different topic to discuss. What about the new Albo government and their master plan for EVs?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
fuck
actually-
Josh Frydenberg. Yeah, fucking whatever.
I actually
Fuck
have it.
ScoMo, fuck 'em
At
all.
least we got ScoMo out.
Yeah,
It's
fuck them all
called-
over. They're all
Okay,
fucking
it's
bitches.
called Driving the Nation, and
You drive it right up their ass.
what they've done is they're going to commit to $39.3 million, and apparently that's also being matched by the NRMA to deliver 117 fast DC charger locations on highways basically across Australia. And as Chuck showed, I think it was from memory last week or the week before, basically it's Adelaide to Perth across Nullarbor, Darwin to Broome, which is where you could really call it Darwin to Kununurra, because clearly, everything in WA has already been promised by the state government. Broken Hill to Adelaide. A great one is Port Augusta to Darwin, so that's straight through the centre, north-south. Is that the Sturt Highway? I can't exactly remember.
Stewart Highway.
Stewart Highway, sorry. And also Brisbane to Mount Isa, which that has been committed to by the Queensland government, but to go on from Mount Isa to Tennant Creek basically solves the lap around Australia. So to the Darwin to Port Augusta, which goes through to Tennant Creek, and then Tennant Creek to effectively Brisbane, that basically means that the big lap in a couple of years will be trivially easy to do.
With our Cybertruck and our electric Caravan.
It said they're exempt for import tariffs. Did it say anything about luxury car tax there?
Yeah. Not in this policy, but I've actually got a document
the
that
car
I made up.
tax is zero from China and so on.
Yeah,
So,
so the
they're
issue,
not going to give anything away there.
No, so the issue is we have FTAs, free trade agreements, in place with China, the USA, Japan, Korea, and Thailand, and those countries happen to be our largest exporters of cars to us, and those free trade agreements mean the tariff is zero. Now, what Labor did do is they said they would remove a tariff, the 5% tariff on all EVs under the luxury car tax threshold. I think this is actually the so-called efficient vehicles threshold of $79,659. So if the car is below that threshold and it's from a tariffed country, so that's obviously the EU or the UK, and it's below $79,000, there's an exemption of that 5% tariff. But at the moment, the only cars I could find that are under that value and are from countries that actually have tariffs, is the Mini Cooper SE, and that's built in the UK, and the Mercedes-Benz EQU 250, which I think that was sliding it was about 79,000 something, $200, I think. So it just slides under if it holds its price, and that's made in Germany. But all the other cars, all Teslas, Konas, Ioniqs, Kias, you name it, BYDs, none of those have tariffs. So I think the Labor Party's got a fairly cheap promise there. The other promise they did do is that for companies that provide cars as a fringe benefit, they'll be exempted. EVs will be exempted from the 47% or 47% fringe benefits tax, provided that that car is also valued under the luxury car tax threshold. So if it's a Tesla, it would have to be a standard Model 3, the rear-wheel drive Model 3.
What about when
don't we
they
do-
change the fuel emissions so that companies or countries stop dumping their inefficient carbon generators, which would encourage potentially Volkswagen to start sending some EVs over here? They may have a couple of models that would meet your criteria, I think.
Yeah, apologies.
Yes,
Yeah, I
they
think maybe
probably
the I forget what it's called now.
ID4.
ID3.
ID3,
sorry,
ID4.
ID4. But yeah, you're right, Steve. The thing is, I don't think they've actually committed to doing that yet. And you're
No,
right,
not
you
yet,
need-
because it's too easy to dump the inefficient ones.
Yep, and I'm not sure if the Labor Party actually had a policy regarding
They-
fuel efficiency ratings or anything.
They have mentioned it, but I don't think it's actually sort of firmly in their mind yet. But I did remember they had mentioned getting some fuel emissions targets going, because we haven't got any. And I think, was it some motoring organisation in Australia said the voluntary emissions are not working. We need to have some stringent ones that are you have to abide to it by law rather than this voluntary shit.
Well, the funny thing is, the only way something voluntary is going to get up is if it happens to coincide with being cheaper anyway. But as soon as it costs you $1, why would you do it? Unless you're
Harold,
Tesla.
back to the point before about the rollout of the chargers around Australia.
Yep.
I think earlier today, the Palaszczuk state government announced 3 phases for rollouts in turn, along the coast and also inland in Queensland.
Yep.
And looking at actually looked quite impressive, the number of chargers they had planned for the future. I guess there's a lot more habitable areas or in central Queensland than what we'd have in similar spots in WA. But it's definitely quite a nice lattice of charging spots.
Yeah, absolutely. I think from memory, it definitely included Hewenden, Richmond, Julia Creek, Cloncurry, Mount Isa. I just don't know about Camberwell. To your knowledge, did it include Camberwell, which is in far
I can look it up for you now if you like.
Queensland?
If you just go, if you go on
Sure.
Facebook, Harold, and just jump on her Facebook page, you'll be able to see it on there.
Yeah, just hang on 2 seconds. I'll try
Is
and
that
do
where she's promised to shave her upper lip, Russell?
So sorry, it's sorry, say who was it again?
Alexandra Palaszczuk.
One with the furry lip. She's got a little. She got a little, furry lip.
P-A. Oh, do you know how to spell her surname? Sorry.
Better
PA.
Google that, copy it across into Facebook, search then.
Good idea. Okay, someone else say something while I'm just doing that because I'm concentrating. Being a Myanmar, I can only do
I
one
sort of
thing.
wonder with the. Oh, you go, Nigel.
Go.
You
I was just wondering, they're going to put in all these lovely chargers, but who's going to maintain them? Because
That's what I was going to say.
smash. Yeah, there you go. They'll
Yeah,
smash.
snap.
They'll
Go.
break down.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got troubles in North Queensland at the moment. They've got about 40 that are out. So
Underwater.
Do you want me to
Will
send
they
you
not
Harold?
contracted to a company that
No, I
does
think I've got
EV
it,
charging
Russell.
and then have them maintain?
Yeah, it should be service group or something.
Or will they
you know
start up
what-
a government run one or something?
You know what?
like that?
What they should do is just go Tesla, open up your supercharge network, and give them the money because they do cheaper charges that are better, and they're up most of the time. Oh, Jesus,
Hello,
Sorry
Harold.
about
What was that?
that. That's
that was a little
the-
loud.
Are we playing musical chairs?
Yeah, so this is a video.
Blowing out our ears.
So it's only going to
Copyright
Mount.
strike.
It's only. Oh yeah. It's only going to Mount Isa. So
Under 8 seconds.
just for reference, I'll grab. Yeah. Okay. So.
Richard Cooper's nearly gone to sleep.
Trying.
He's trying.
Got good eyes, Jared.
His doctor said I can give you any medicine. Richard said, no worries, just watch this Zoom show every Wednesday night. Knocks me out straight away.
So you've got Charters Towers, and I've been there. Hewenden been there. Richmond been there. Julia Creek been there. Cloncurry been there. So that's great. That's phase 3, and then Mount Isa. So there will be nothing at Camberwell. But having said that, of course, the federal government, the incoming federal government, has promised a highway between Brisbane and Tennant Creek,
wasn't it?
which is just here. So obviously you're going to have one at Camberwell and at the Barclay Homestead. So
In the whole scheme of things, it
The good
costs
news, I
nothing
think-
compared to actually what other, like last week, I think we discussed some the cost of an intersection, interchange or overpass. The whole EV rollout for whole of Australia would cost less than one major intersection like the Tonkin Highway and Road Highway intersection. That was close to, was that 500 mil or $1 billion or something?
It's in the billion.
Yeah, crazy, right?
It's in the billion.
And then it's still got 2 traffic lights. Ridiculous. Over $1 billion and it's still got 2 traffic lights.
The bridge they built was pretty amazing in Bayswater. How they managed to just push it out over. That was clever.
They push them all out.
Yeah, well, normally they
bridges.
bury them and then they dig them up. That's how they do it.
All the new bridges they push out. Even the Seacliff Bridge on Stanwell Park, they pushed out. And that's a curve. That's a curve one. So all the new bridges are, well, 99% of them anyway are push outs. They're brilliant. The
I was
narrows
totally amazed. Totally amazed.
Yeah, they're good.
But yeah, thanks for that, Russell.
That's Peter.
That's great to see that.
I just read through some of the comments on that post. Were quite funny. The one that I like the most is, how about more E85 stations? Thought that was a nice comment. Yeah.
Actually, I'll tell you, I on occasion I watch the Channel 7 News and I sort of see the Fuel Watch segment where it has unleaded petrol, LPG, and diesel, and I keep thinking, why don't they have EV fast DC chargers? Because the best thing is the price per kilowatt hour will be the same day in, day out, day in, day out. It'll be the same 52 cents a kilowatt hour. And wouldn't that be great for those petrol car owners that look at the price and go, why is it always the same? And petrol keeps going up and down like the proverbial.
Yeah, it's back to $2 again.
Yeah, it's right up there.
I saw that today. Like diesel was $2.22.
Yep.
And I was like,
yeah,
bloody hell.
And bearing in mind,
I was going to go fill up the car today, but I didn't have a knife, so I wasn't going to go. Let's have a knife.
Bearing in mind that $2 is actually $2.22 because we're paying several $1 billion to cut the excise in half until September.
That's it, and then it's right back up there. It's going to be $5 a litre.
Good. Fuck them.
Yeah, and you'd be stabbing them.
That's
The higher
very
it gets,
magnanimous
the
of you
more
there,
people
Paul.
will
That's
go to electric vehicles.
There's been a lot of swearing tonight, starting with Nigel. I might point that out.
I'm
Nigel opened up the floodgates with telling me to fuck off.
Certainly did.
I'll tell you what, going to revoke
You
his
definitely
pension
did
card.
monetize tonight.
You set a standards for us to live down to.
Hey, look, I'm just trying to live up to my name, all right?
You know,
I'm in training. I'm
If
in
someone was
training.
wanting a
With,
Model 3 now, what's the wait time?
9 to
9
12 months.
And that's the soonest for any model make or any model test drive. Is that the soonest?
Oh,
It's the only model. It's
Model
the only thing
3.
you can buy in Australia at the
Yeah.
moment.
There's a lot of issues. A lot of issues with transport at the moment with freight.
So it's the same time frame for performance
Freight,
versus standard range.
Yes, they haven't. It's flat as it just says 6 to 9 months.
So 9 to 12 months.
Sorry, 9 to 12. Sorry, 9 to 12 months.
Which actually makes it a bit of a problem with this, drive the nation. They want to get more and more EVs here. Well, we haven't got any. I mean, you've got BYDs coming in a few months. Tesla's next year. We could have ordered an Ioniq 5 and got another 500 in next year.
You get the beach pack for that.
And I think Kia's a 2-year wait.
Yeah, the EV6 is 18 months.
Please don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody because we want them to keep on rolling out charges across the country. Don't think they've got time because they'll drag it all back.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we sort of mentioned it a couple of episodes ago that perhaps the state government's $3,500 times 10,000 rebates probably has come a little bit late. It's really come ironically at a time when it's probably not actually needed at the moment. Had it come a couple of years ago, it would have been a lot more useful.
We don't want to hear them that.
No, that's right. We'll take it. The new government's going to be great, Harold, because they're not going to lie to us. unlike the last government who lied to us, they're not going to lie to us. Are they, Pete?
Excuse me, Jared. How do you tell when a politician's lying? His lips are moving.
That's it, 100%. And they look you in the eye and they say,
actually, with all the Labor MPs that are now taking up resident in WA, we should all start hassling them for all the things we want.
Yeah, correct.
So my mate Ali, so I'll be catching up with her. So
she's great. She's did a lot for me, that Anne Ali. She's a really nice lady.
Yep.
She was one of the first ministers that got off her ass to help me, and I'll never forget that. She was really good.
Good.
And I had such great pleasure on Saturday night texting Josh Frydenberg's personal assistant saying, "Welcome to the unemployment heap, you sack of shit." So I had a lot of pleasure doing that. So
should we get into some religion as well while we're at it?
Let's go straight.
Have you heard the way of Elon?
Have you seen the IKEA commercial? Clive Palmer spent 60 million on a chair, and they're selling seats at IKEA for $27.50.
Right.
Clive Palmer couldn't get a seat for 60 million.
He spent 100
mil.
100 mil was
absolutely nowhere. And I love the comment on Channel 7 when they were asked, well, what did he get out of it? And they all said, just a boost to his ego. That's all he wanted.
What a waste of $100 million.
Absolutely. Okay, so has anyone got any other questions that aren't discussing
we're talking about God?
Normal things like religion, politics, and
no, I've got one.
Football. How about football?
Jesus is the answer for my life, but he's also the answer for all you motherfuckers as well. Like, I want to just share the good Lord's message out there tonight with everybody. Place your hands up in the air and say, I believe.
What about Muhammad?
Just live long and prosper.
So now that we've offended probably almost everyone on this planet.
Oh, you're still recording? Oh my God!
You and your mates.
Yes, we are. Unfortunately, and apologies for those that are wading through this. This is just a little interlude before we get into good stuff. Has anyone got any non-religion or politics?
Yeah, I've got one.
Go, Adam. Save us all.
So I'm a bit of a data geek, and I've been trying to build a dashboard on the power usage of the M3. Does anyone have any apps that they use, or does anyone use a OBD2 connector, and do they get a decent level of data coming out to get accurate data and track their usage?
Is Richard awake?
You can do it. It depends. Adam, are you a programmer?
No, I'm in business intelligence, so I've built a dashboard, but I've just been me keeping my own stats when I charge, what I've charged to, so I can try and track how much I've used and do a theoretical range at that point in time, and I track how much I've spent, how much I've saved, all that sort of thing.
Adam, yeah. Do you work for the ATO?
No.
Just wanted to check. That's all right.
He just went no.
Check my name.
There's a couple of scan my Tesla app for that stuff.
Yes.
Sorry?
And I pull it into Power BI and I've got it in there.
So what was it you got?
I use Scan My Tesla.
Scan My Tesla. Okay.
Yeah.
And
you got to buy the thing from them, then download the app.
Oh yeah,
Then
then
you pay a monthly subscription.
Okay.
You can connect to the API and you just pull it straight from there. That's what I do.
Okay. How much is that subscription?
I think it's like $7 a month or something.
Okay.
Can't
Unless
remember.
they get your credit card, it's going to be a lot more. Probably
I
100.
put it on Harold's credit card anyway, so I don't really pay for it.
Just put it on
Oh,
Harold's.
that one.
Because
Then
as
the
part of the
benefit-
club, you get the tyre, you get the lead, and you get Harold's credit card. All three things, no charge.
Actually, I've got a confession to make. That commitment of having free access to my credit card only lasted for as long as the federal government. So I'm afraid that with a change of regime, that credit card's been killed off and no longer works.
There will be a new one. There will be a new one coming, and I'll let everyone know as soon as it arrives.
And it'll be coloured green.
There's a question on the chat from Tom, Harold.
Oh, apologies, Tom.
Could be a Pete question. Or
Could be a Pete question, I reckon.
Yeah,
before Pete gives the proper answer, I'm just no, I won't even bother.
What's the question?
The question is on solar cells.
Oh yeah.
Canadian or SunPower Maxion?
Oh, I'll tell you straight off the bat.
That's easy.
That's easy. SunPower.
Let's let Pete's the solar man. He's even got a solar coloured jumper
he's got a
on
sun
at the
shirt
moment.
on. Yeah, jumper.
Sorry, polo shirt. So
because last week he looked like the moon because he had the COVID moon things.
So Pete, tell Tom what you reckon.
So it depends on which SunPowers and which Canadians. But SunPowers, there's three series. There's the P or the Performance series. There's the X and there's the E. But I thought I saw you say Maxion 3. Okay, so that's the X series. That's pretty much the most expensive panel on the market. It's also the best panel on the market. Depending on, how long you're going to be in the house for and your budget, etc. Generally speaking, that may be overkill. You can drop down to the E series or the Performance series. You'll still get your 25-year performance and product warranty, and it's not quite the same thing, but at a much more accessible price point. And the P series SunPowers should only be no more than about 10 or 20% more than the Canadians, depending on which ones. So generally speaking, I'd probably go for the P series SunPowers over the Canadians. But yeah, there's quite a big chasm between your Maxions and the Canadians. Huge difference.
And with Pete just saying that, we'll just say this.
The following segment is general in nature and shouldn't be taken as personal professional advice. Listeners should seek their own independent assessment from a qualified advisor and not rely on the general nature of information in this program.
Hey, look, but Pete's the expert here. That's like professional advice. And was that SunPower P for performance? And what about the long range ones?
Can I comment on that? Because I went through a process a few years ago analysing all these ones as well. What Pete said is what we did as well. It came down to how long we plan to live in the house. When we did the numbers, if you don't plan on living in that place long enough, or even living, I'm not sure how old you are, Tom, but like even living at all, it makes no sense to put all that money in panels, because you're not going to get that money back, because in 10 or 15 years time, when they're due for replacement, the ones you have are going to be so crap, you should have just spent some cheap ones and bought some brand new ones in 10 or 15 years time. That's really what it comes down to. In our situation, we had the Maxion 3s because they actually offer the dual, if one cell's blocked, you can still get all the other cells still work. So there is a better performance level of the panels themselves when there's, clouded or semi-partial or partial shading.
Yeah.
Which was a thing that we just wanted to get as much on the roof as we could, and we bought those ones because we thought that with those, and also with optimizers and microinverters, where we could get the best amount of sun in all conditions. Yep. But if we were in the house for longer than 10 years, I would have bought the cheapest Chinese ones I could find, and then flog the house off, and no one's even going to pay. You're not going to pay any more for a house with better solar panels on. It's not.
And they would have caught fire and burnt the house down anyway. You would have got
insurance.
insurance.
Perfect.
So
Building your house.
Pete, the other half of that question would be, what about availability of panels, though? Is there any restrictions with supply?
Oh, definitely not. No, everything's flowing so easy in Australia at the moment. No worries. On the shelf.
No, some powers, so it's starting to get a little bit better, but about 2 months ago, you couldn't find a SunPower panel in WA. So, yeah, look, definitely a ring around, but it is getting better. The Maxions, they don't get sold in, they get sold in very low volumes. So a little bit harder to come by. But even the performance panels, even those were really hard to get only 6 to 8 weeks ago. So, but Canadians, I haven't heard of any issues with Canadians.
Yep. Thanks very much, Pete.
It's all right.
And have a shave.
Pleasure.
No worries.
If you remember, it was a few weeks ago, we were talking about having to recalibrate the battery and taking it down to 20%. That was a month or two ago. I actually did that with mine, and it made no difference whatsoever a few weeks ago. I'm still it was registering 324 to 326. And would you believe, yesterday I was down at Eton and I just set it to go to 90%, and I was going, oh shit, it's full. I whacked it up to 100% because I was getting a bit delayed. So I got to the car and it just then said, you're fully charged. So I unplugged it, got in the car, was driving down the road, and all of a sudden I got 350 range. And then it's sitting at 350, whereas before it was 324. So recalibrate the batteries at the 100% mark and then do it at the 20% mark, or whichever way around. So all of a sudden now my battery is saying I can do 350. So I was quite happy.
Unbelievable.
So I think it just recalibrated itself and realigned its idea of where the 100% was. Because that's only about the second time in its lifetime of 2.5 years that I've taken it above 90 or 95% to 100.
Well, here's a question. That recalibration, does it actually make any difference to the real world range of the car, or just what you think it'll do?
I doubt it. It's just to what the car tells you it thinks it can do now. I don't think it actually makes it.
Oh, no,
because it's
at the bottom end. I think possibly at the bottom end, if you're going to 1 or 2%, I think it can actually make a difference, because what could happen is you think you've got 3% left and suddenly it just dives away to 0 or less.
Yeah.
Because I got it down to 4% the last time I went down 12 days ago. And it was really dropping quite dramatically at the end. Although the trip thing eventually settled at 4% before I got there and stayed there.
So in a zombie apocalypse, it probably wouldn't matter, because your car will still travel the same distance before it ran out of juice and you got killed by the nearest zombie. But from day-to-day driving, you're much better off having a well-calibrated BMS. And also, if you have the cells well balanced as well, which you can do at the very top, it can balance the cells off a bit better.
I was pleasantly surprised that I looked at it, and as I was driving out of Eton and go, okay, well, I'm going, it's saying 350. Wow.
And yours, just for record, yours is a standard range, but it's a Fremont one, so
it's a Fremont
NCA
one with the nickel cadmium
aluminium.
NCA, is it?
NCA, yeah.
Isn't it nickel cobalt?
Yeah.
Cobalt, sorry.
Apologies, cobalt, yeah. Nickel, cobalt, aluminium.
So Nigel, go through the process of recalibrating.
Take your car down.
Hey, Carmen. How are you, Carmen?
Take your car down to about 20% state of charge, and leave it at that for a while. Then go to
a while being, say, what, couple of hours, Nigel?
Look, I left mine overnight. I have got no idea. But then take it to a supercharger and whack it up to 100%. and,
or-
and
Okay.
Or
drive
charge it
it
at home.
immediately.
You can do it at home.
Doesn't
Yeah,
have to be a
charge it
supercharger.
Is that
Yeah.
called teasing the battery?
No, let's just taking
Right.
it to its extent so that the BMS recalibrates.
Yeah.
It recalibrates the BMS. But take it to 100%, but as soon as it gets there, unplug and drive. Don't
By
leave
the
it
way,
running.
anyone watching in YouTube land, BMS just stands for Battery Management System. So that's a system that controls the actual charging and discharging of the batteries.
As
Temperature
important
and stuff.
itself.
Sorry,
we're
say
only
again,
talk-
Pete?
As important as the battery itself.
And we're only
Yes.
talking non-lithium ions.
That's
Lithium.
right.
Yeah, not LFP batteries. I
Right.
don't.
And the easiest way to tell the
I did-
difference is in
I
your
did have
charging.
a.
So hang on 2 seconds, Paul. And
Yeah, no,
the
it's
best way to tell the difference between a nickel, cadmium, aluminium, so the NCA batteries
Cobalt?
to the LFPs,
Cobalt, nickel, cobalt, aluminium.
nickel, cobalt,
Not
aluminium,
cadmium. Cadmium.
and
Okay.
the sorry,
Take
and
cadmium out of
the
it.
Showing
and
your age,
the
brother.
LFPs, which is lithium iron phosphate, is if you look on your charge screen and you'll see the little tick marks that you can set your charge percentage to. If you see the word daily and trip on your
Yes.
screen, you've got the NCAs, the nickel,
Yeah.
cobalt, aluminium.
Yeah.
And if you don't see the little daily and trip, then you have the lithium iron phosphate. And they're ones that you can treat mean. You can not, well, not mean, you can charge them to 100% and discharge them to not very much.
You can smack them
all
and
day,
say,
every
"Who's your
day,
daddy?"
and they don't care, basically.
Who's your dad? No,
But so Carmen, in your case, yours will have the word daily and trip,
Yes, it does.
and they're the ones that you should charge up to 90% all day, every day.
I do.
And 100% just on special trips, and you don't leave it at 100% for too long. But yeah, they're the ones that probably benefit the most from
charging.
every few months, maybe 6 months, whatever. Just charge it up to 100%. You can do it at home, but try and time it so that within a few minutes or half an hour of it being at 100%, you then go for a reasonable trip to get the level down to roughly 90% again or less.
And don't have the ABC on. It's dangerous.
Why?
Nothing wrong with the ABC.
It can affect
And
the
don't
charging
forget
of the
your,
battery. Russell's got a chart. Russell, bring out your chart. You got a pie chart on that? Driving with the ABC.
I wasn't listening.
Oh,
Pie
That's
charts.
so boring.
Pie
I
charts
fell
about.
asleep.
He'd gone to sleep with the ABC.
he had the ABC.
Gabriel's got his hand
It
up.
depends. It
Oh,
depends
but
whether
with-
Liam Bartlett is on. I listen to 6PR when Liam is on.
Ah, right. Okay.
That's okay.
When your
Gabriel's.
when your
Go.
battery's
Paul.
at-
Oh, Gabriel, where is he?
Paul.
I
Gabriel.
just wanted to finish what I was.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah,
'Cause
sorry,
I-
we interrupted Paul.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
Paul, finish
yeah.
your
Yeah, back
point,
to
and then we'll
Paul.
get to Gabriel.
Okay, cool. Because I had a lithium iron phosphate car, and you still had to do the balancing your batteries anyway for the battery management system, because the battery management system is the issue, not the batteries themselves. So if you don't do that, then the car will think you'll have less range.
Yeah.
So all electric cars need them, full electric.
I've
Ju-
done it on
just
mine,
quickly,
it's only
Carmen,
8 weeks old.
when you're at 100%, your regen braking will initially probably not work, or it will be a little bit
Yeah, you won't
subdued.
have any.
Correct. It won't work.
Yeah. No brake.
No
It's
brakes.
quite funny because you're
No
used to
regen.
it so often that's my
Yeah.
brakes, and I'm like, holy shit, that's right, I've got a brake. So yeah.
Unless you got 216, which is coming out now, which allows you to say, use my real brakes if regen's not working.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
That was on the Tesla, one of the Tesla info sites, not Tesla itself, but one of them talking about new versions, release notes.
You retired boys have got so much time on your hands. Great. Jesus.
What's wrong with today? Today's a
Can't
good
wait
day.
to get to that stage in life. You guys know
Okay, sorry.
everything.
So let's get back to Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Politely
And that
had
wasn't
his,
Gabriel. I know Gabriel. He's wearing a shirt. That's an imposter.
He
The guy's got a
politely
shirt
had
on.
his
That's
hand
not
up.
him.
He politely
Yeah.
had his hand up for quite a while. So yeah, Gabriel, shoot.
We are on winter, so shirts on. Sure.
Exactly. Well, he's married now. When he was single, the shirt was off. But
See?
now married,
There
Close
we
shot.
go.
So you
Gone.
got it. I got it, Gabriel.
So go, Gabriel.
So I got
Shoot.
2 questions. One is related to that and one is non-related. So first one, yeah, that there's this thing that one is between 90 and 100%, the regenerative brake won't work or you work less.
Yes.
And I did charge it to 100%. I got the performance one, so I have to charge up to 90% only. But when I went to a long trip, I charged to 100%. And still, when it passed the 90%, it was still without brake. So
Yes.
it went into 82% and was still like no regenerative brake. So is that normal?
So, well, one thing is,
No.
was it really cold? Or were you driving for
Yeah.
a while? Did you drive it from 100% down to 82, or did you wake up in the morning
Yep.
at 82%, go and then start driving and then see?
No, fully charged, and then I drove straight away.
Now, Gabriel, your car is a Shanghai built
Yes.
performance. That I presume has the. Did you have your heater on? Your
Yes.
aircon, was it cold outside, so you had your air conditioner on
Correct.
to warm
Everything.
the car?
Yep. Wheel.
And was it producing warm air?
We're getting to it. We're getting
Yep.
close.
Okay.
Yep.
So you've got the Shanghai built Model 3, which has the heat pump, and Tesla uses the octavalve, which is a means of changing coolant directions and whether the heat flow. So what it does, and actually this can happen in winter, even with your battery at a reasonably low state of charge, or even 90% or less, even 85, or in your case 82, is even if you're driving for some distance and the car you'd normally think would be warm, as in the battery, the car actually sucks heat out of the battery pack to put into the cabin in winter, because it's more efficient to do that than to try and drag the heat out of the cold air going through the radiator. So it actually chills the battery down, and that can affect your regen braking even in the 80s percent state of charge. I think it was the gentleman in Gidgegannup,
Shane
Parker.
Shane Parker.
Yeah.
He experienced that going down the hill, even though it was a long trip, where he would lose regen even though he'd driven for quite a while, and it was because his car had actually further reduced the temperature of the battery pack in an effort to be efficient in scavenging heat. And unfortunately, it sometimes does that a bit too well, so it reduces your regen. But Steve, as you were saying, it sounds like Tesla's going to correct that.
Would you like me to bring up the share screen?
Oh,
absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
Bring it on, please.
Gabriel, when you were driving, was there a hot-looking girl on the passenger seat? So obviously there wasn't.
I was that myself.
Yeah, that's why, because the cold air just goes straight through. There you go.
Yep.
Sorted it out for you.
Rightio. So obviously it says your
There you
vehicle
go.
can now automatically apply regular brakes for consistent deceleration when regen braking is limited.
To
Awesome.
battery temperature, which is what you were saying, Harold, as well as state of charge.
Exactly. Yep, precisely.
And so let me just scroll up, and that should be into 1602.
Oh, wow.
What a Tesla app.
What a fantastic thing.
Is this some special website, is it, Steve? Like smackmyboard.com, is it?
No, I just found it a little while ago, so I've bookmarked it because it has what's coming up.
Big daddies are us.
You can find it through Teslafy as well. And then
Here we go. He's got a pie graph on this one, have you, Nigel?
Yeah, because if you go to Teslafy, it shows you all the releases that are currently in the system and the volume of cars that have currently got them put out. Yep. But it relies on, it's like a crowdsourced thing, so it's not official. It's only for the people that subscribe to that application.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Someone I know who's got a 5-year-old Model X, he's reported, no, not me, he's reported over 100 or just on 100 software updates, because he's gone to one of these reporting websites, and he logs in and reports whenever he gets a software update, and he's actually got, because he logs all the ones you've put in yourself as well, and he's got over 100 updates.
What's his name? Betty or something?
Jason.
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 Oh, Jason.
So he's basically put in just over 100 software updates in just about 5 years. I think his car was delivered almost 5 years ago.
Crazy.
So there you go.
Gabriel, what's your second question?
Yeah, the second one is not too important. When you turn on the heater, there's a funny crack noisy like tack tack tack. Is it normal in everyone or
Yeah,
just
because
my car?
I'll answer this one. Because your car's made in Shanghai, every now and then one of the workers got stuck in the car and they just shipped it out straight away. So that's one of the guys actually trying to get out. It'll be a little tang, tang, tang with a tip, tip, tip. And then if you just wait a little while, it'll get out, it'll be fine. Is that the answer?
I did a quick Google on it, and then I saw that that's the difference between the air outside that's cold and the inside is hot. So there's this temperature difference. But all my previous car never did it before, so I don't know.
Does it happen just like you put the heater on, basically the thing thermally expands, like it gets hot, the plastic or whatever, the trim or something inside expands and then does like a couple of cracks, like creaking noises? Or are you saying it keeps doing it all the time?
It keeps doing just when the heater is on, but more than a couple of times, like 30 times.
Oh, okay.
Did you have that on max?
Yeah, I've never.
No, like 24 degrees, and the outside was like 14 degrees.
Because I noticed that 2 mornings ago when I had my windscreen heater on max, it probably sort of about 10 little noises.
Yeah, because I wake up very early in the morning. So if I don't go cycling, I go to the gym. So that's like 4:30 a.m. and it's pretty cold.
Don't we all? We all go to the gym.
Did you hear that, Jared?
Yeah, I go to the gym every morning, Carmen. I do a 15K run, and I don't drive my car. Run to the gym.
And then you wake up, Jared.
No, then I roll over. I roll over, and then I wake up, and then I've lost about 10 kilos by then. So that's just...
So Gabriel, it might be worth it if you can use your phone just to record it. Yeah. If it's very regular, like if it happens all the time, just record it, and obviously play it back to see if you can hear it, because sometimes it doesn't work as well. And you could always raise it as a ticket with Tesla.
Absolutely.
And just ask. I mean, if it's not obvious in the forums or actually even just ask the question on Facebook perhaps, or I mean, you've asked it here, and I don't think there's no one in the room that has got that experience except for you, Adam, where you've had a little bit with your windscreen.
I've got the same car as you.
Whatever you do. If you ask it on Facebook, just, I don't know, you're going to be in for like a whole world of pain, I think. It's rare you're going to get a common sense answer out of the people that are.
Yep.
Actually, that's probably a good point there, Russell.
Just record it and play it next week, and we'll listen.
Yep, I'll do that. All right.
We'll just go do it now.
And maybe when you're in the car and this is happening, you haven't smoked one of those big Colombian doobies. You're not in the car smoking a big doobie, and you're hearing this noise. Is that not happening, Gabriel? Is it? I hope not. Like, a little Dutch oven going on in that car,
Or the police tapping the window.
That could be the tapping. Actually, good work, Steve. That could be the tapping. The police are tapping on the window while you're in the car doing the Dutch oven thing. Yeah, right.
And you mentioned the weight thing. Actually, I have another question about the go-karting thing. So I invited a friend of mine to go to these events that we are going. And he asked whether we have this weight balance thing. I don't know how to call English. Like there's a guy 150 kilos and 150 kilos. They would put some weight on the lighter car.
There's no handicap, no. So,
but you are allowed to drive with a baseball bat. Take out other people.
So yeah, if you weigh 150 kilos or someone that weighs 50 kilos, the person who weighs 50 is going to win.
Yeah. Unless the 150 kilo guy lands on you, then he's going to win and you're going to be squashed.
Or they can drive properly around the corner.
Yeah, so exactly.
Speaking of the go-karts, I can report that they have now sold out. So
there you go.
We have opened up. There is a wait list I just got to see if there's
150
anyone.
kilos is the weight list.
I am 70 kilos, so I have big advantage always that I go. But I have never done the electric one, so pretty
I've eaten a
excited.
lunch bigger than you, Gabriel.
They're all-
70 kilos. That's so funny.
Oh, we've actually got one person on the wait list. So I mean that's good that we'll probably get a few more. Because clearly, if anyone needs to cancel because of COVID reasons, and I think it was you, Steve, that asked that, and I actually dug into Try Booking's website, and it's actually really easy to process a refund. I literally just select the ticket, hit refund, and the money goes straight back, including credit card fees, the whole lot. You get the whole lot back.
Well, that's good.
Unless something fatality happens to you, then we keep the money and split it over the.
No, because if I'm dead, then you won't know how to log into the site to get the money in the first place. But actually, that's not true. You'd have to kill Ken and I, but that just means that Ken and I never drive in the same car in the same place.
Or use the same version of FSD.
That's right. And we particularly never ever drive head on towards each other because that could be awkward.
Probably still live.
Probably. But obviously, if anyone does get sick, even if you're feeling like, well, you don't worry about the money and you treat it as a donation, please do actually cancel so that then it gives someone else an opportunity to participate. That's the most important thing rather than the actual money itself. But yeah, it's a sold out event.
If you want to donate as well.
Yeah, so go to patreon.com/Tokwa and join the Patreon program where you have no extra features or benefits whatsoever. So you can prove that you're doing it just for altruistic reasons. And
we are starting a new one, Harold. We are starting a new fund. The GoFundMe page is Rescue Harold's credit card, which is currently in Thailand. Strapped up at the moment, but we're getting some money together to save
considering that credit card has earned over 1 million frequent flyer points, I don't think it can be saved, Jared.
But Harold, those were Ansett frequent flyer points.
Oh, fucking Ansett!
I tell you what, I hope
don't
I still
talk to me
have
about
it.
that. I lost a lot of points with Ansett.
I hope I still have it at work. How do I describe this? I borrowed a spoon from an Ansett aeroplane while I was still flying, and I kind of know why they went broke, because if this spoon didn't weigh the best part of 0.5 kilogram and it was a teaspoon, like it was the biggest, most robust steel teaspoon I've ever seen.
It's before
9/11. Ansett embossed on it. Man, that was heavy, and you had to fly that thing day in, day out. No wonder they went broke.
Oh, heavy those spoons! I remember those spoons.
I only lost 330,000 points on that one.
I lost more on that one.
I lost more.
One of my daughters had already cashed in 70,000 points as well, so it's like I had to pay for that one separately.
I was so close to that Weber barbecue at that stage. I don't want to talk about it, but I lost at least 700, nearly 1 million frequent flyer points per answer. Gutted me.
I think Nigel was actually the happy young man when he lost his Ansett points.
I was quite a happy young man until they went under. With
he was happy.
Four return flights to Queensland and about 1 million frequent flyer points. The bastards! I was not happy.
I couldn't speak to a New Zealand person for about a year.
Yeah, because they didn't honour those points, bastards.
No, they didn't. No, they just wiped it off.
Oh, are we still recording? Oops.
Yeah, it's great to see that we're dwelling in the past. It's it's always good to learn from the past.
It's time to come back to Jesus. Jesus'
Hey,
name.
I can only remember a long time in the past. I cannot remember what I had for breakfast. So that's old age for you.
That's all right. The good thing is that demented people can drive cars too, especially with FSD.
Only when the full self-driving's working. You know?
Obviously not autopilot, Nigel.
Yes, but Nigel, can you remember?
I'll be Nigel's age. I'll be Nigel's age by the time it gets to here.
Oh, don't say that, Paul. That's depressing.
You've got a long way to go, Paul.
Nigel, when do you fly? When are you flying out? Is it soon?
Oh, yeah.
It's
And you're going
Tuesday.
next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Are you
Oh,
going?
wow.
You're going Perth to straight to London, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Cool.
Are you?
Excited? You pick your seat.
Can't
Always
get.
get the back. If you're going to go economy, go right down the back. Get the last seat on the back row.
No, it's not economy.
No,
No, he's premium economy.
Oh, that's right.
premium.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, premium economy.
That's no good.
I did
Jared.
actually-
That's
Are
near
you
the
going?
bathroom.
If you go on your own, Nigel, you can get that sticker they put on you, going unaccompanied adult, and the hostie takes you on and tucks you in. And
About that flying in economy right up the back, I did that a few years ago with Frankfurt, and for some reason when I sat down, I had to lift the seat up first. It was so far in the back. It was the
It's right to the back of us.
in the toilet. Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's too close to the bathrooms.
No, I don't mind being at the back because then there's no one behind me kicking this. If I have to go economy, I'll go to the last seat at the back. And because no one wants to sit at the back. So if you book the back seat, there's generally no one around. If the flight's not full, they want to be at the front because, they don't want to be at the back because they're the last ones to get fed. When the economy tray comes out, the prison guards bring out the food, they go straight to the first cells before they come to the back of the plane where the rest of the cells are. So, but the back of the plane's the best.
No,
Definitely.
it's because of the noisy kitchen and the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, in premium economy, you probably wouldn't experience that. It's,
Business class.
said you go. The only way to go now is, of
Nigel,
course,
you're
is business
going
class.
early.
Sorry, Carmen?
You're going early, are you?
He's got a couple more years yet, Carmen. I wouldn't say.
Yeah, don't rush him.
Don't write him off straight away, Carmen. Like,
No,
Appearances can be deceiving, Carmen.
yeah, a few pills and he can still, still get going. Like, he's,
those blue pills work wonders.
Yeah, and the red ones.
So I thought you were leaving in June.
No, we're leaving next Tuesday.
Okay.
So Nigel will
like the
be
30th.
not at the
Oh,
front
what's
of
the
the plane
boat?
in business.
Oh, here we
He'll
go.
be
Here we go.
premium.
Hey.
Hey, Harold, what's going on here?
Definitely gotta get
Hey, let's go back up to economy, Harold. Go forward again to business. I was like,
That or
No,
flying
that's-
Alibaba or something.
Jesus.
That's just
They
a
the hosties.
spam. No, that's just
Uh-huh.
Yeah, hey, look at
What
that.
else did you hire for that trip?
Hey, yeah. And you're saying that
Wow.
Harold needs Nigel needs a stair lift. Is that what you're saying? Go back up to the top right-hand corner. Was it a lift?
There you go.
there we go. We cleaned it up. Thank you.
All right, let's
Thank
pick
you,
your seat.
Google.
Let's pick your premium economy. All right, 23. That's probably the best. 23J. I'd go 23J.
Always the window seat.
What's that? What's it? Yeah, that. Keep going,
I always go the window seat.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, he's
Well,
having his
no.
wife.
Excuse
So,
me, I'm actually taking a woman with me.
oh, so you can go the window seat.
Yeah, so we get
No,
two
aisles
minutes.
better.
Yeah,
You can get out.
Yeah, but if you take JK
Yeah, they got no one
or
behind
AB,
you.
then you've got no one else to worry about. Or
Yeah.
well, if there's two of you, it doesn't matter then because you could also take the centre. But
And
I
you
mean, look,
wouldn't-
if you're a couple, you obviously want to take just the
It's
pair.
a full flight. Chockers.
Oh,
I
I can
think they
imagine.
sold the toilets at the back.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. Look at the back there. It's just full.
Yeah, and then the
Nice
deer
room.
seats.
Oh,
Was
There's
it
gotta be more
17
questions.
hours?
There's got to
17
be
hours.
questions, surely.
Thereabouts.
How long is it,
getting a bit
Nigel?
off topic at the
17?
moment.
18 hours.
It's about 17.
17
Yeah.
hours. I've done
How much-
Sydney to Dallas, and that was 18 hours. But that was in first class, so it was pretty shitty. I mean,
Yeah, it was-
got a
Shocking,
long
terrible.
flight. It was first class with Qantas, which is not. It's not fantastic. I mean, it's okay. I mean, you still got to put a flare out to get a meal. And when the Qantas, even from first class, you've got to go. The hostie does come out in first class and say, "Yeah, what do you want?" When Emirates said, "It's Mr. Hawke. May I get you? Can I do? Can I? But
yeah,
in
but your
Qantas,
first
it's
name's
like-
not Bob, Jared. So
And
That's
I,
right.
yeah.
and I did have some of the original hosties that were on the Wright brothers flight on my last plane trip, which was great to have the couple of classic ladies who had,
So
couple of
Russell,
wing
you
cracks.
you said, I think I heard you say, has anyone got any real questions or something?
Well, I think I think sitting through that for the last 10 minutes is probably harder than the 18-hour flight to wherever it was Joe was talking about.
London.
Maybe we can stick on topic for a bit longer, just the next like half an hour, and then we can maybe deviate back to.
Dallas was good.
Real stuff. Actually, I think. Well, having said that, Russell, with obviously Starlink being spread through different airlines, and Elon Musk did mention he's actually testing that on his own SpaceX.
Flight.
Yes. And I think Hawaiian Airlines are also have committed to using Starlink. So if you've got live Starlink on that 17-hour flight from Perth to Heathrow, that means you could get in about 4 Ask Us Anything episodes in a row. So,
that would be brutal.
So I think
it's like he's through it live. Why does he want to replay it?
I think the point is that we should stop speaking of flights in terms of hours or distance and simply change the metric to numbers of Ask Us Anythings. So, short domestic flight, half an Ask Us Anything. Perth to Sydney, 1 Ask Us Anything. Perth to London, 4 Ask Us Anything.
Oh, that's not really fair. What about the time that you and Russell went to 1:30 in the morning?
Yeah,
that's definitely a Perth to Tokyo direct. That one, that's a 9.5 hour. That one.
Time's relative as well, so it's whatever you're perceiving how long it's taking.
So while you're flying, Paul, at speed, does that affect the time?
Does it make us talk faster on the broadcast or slower?
And Nigel, you got yourself a good
does
set
if you're
of
watching
headphones?
on YouTube, double speed.
You got yourself a good set of headphones. You need those noise cancellation Bose headphones.
Oh, I've got something.
Yeah, he just takes his hearing aid out.
That's good point.
Actually, pro tip with the Bose is you get the ones with the in-ear.
Yeah.
Noise cancelling, so then you can actually lay it on a pillow.
Yeah, correct.
On the side. Don't get the bloody cans because you can't do anything with them. No. Anyway, if you're in economy,
you can barter, so you don't get stabbed, and you can barter, and then you won't get.
Look, anyone that stabs someone, Jared, is invited to cool themselves off at the outside of the airplane.
Or you mean the back where all the Tim Tams are, the back corner?
That's right.
Now, they're the pollywaffles.
No, that's only in Canberra. You only get that in Canberra. So, getting back to Russell's main sage point, so as not to render everyone else watching on YouTube in a catatonic state, or getting them to skip the next half hour like Damon often does. Has anyone got any Tesla-related stuff or other things?
Oh, Richard's got his hand up.
Richard.
He's either putting his hand up or he's having a stroke. One or the other. I'm not sure.
Right.
He hasn't moved all night till now. He's having 2 strokes. Sounds like a double heart attack, a triple heart attack.
Richard, don't make me peel my banana. Don't do it.
Was it a par 3 today, Richard? Another hard day in the office.
Hey, Starlink. I rang Harold earlier in the week to talk about Starlink, and he said bring it up on. So I've just got a little quiz for you before I do that. I'm just going to share my screen, and you've got to tell me what this is. This is a little
Is this a drawing you did at school today?
No, this is just you got to. What's that? Am I sharing my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Showing your screen.
That looks like a TV aerial that's snapped, and you've lost the top of it.
No,
It looks like a tile tucker.
That's a bracket. That's a tile bracket to put your dish on. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a tile. There you go, tile tucker.
There you go.
I called it tile tucker.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Ready to put my Starlink on when it comes.
Hey, look at
That's
Pete
cool.
salivating right up the front there because he remember when he cracked his tile when he first installed it with his mate. Oh, he's going, oh, look at that. Why do we have one of those?
So,
Who built that? You built that. Did you, Richard?
Oh, you want? Yeah, I built that yesterday. I just had something to do.
Hey, good job, mate. Well done.
That's solid.
Yeah.
And it won't leak.
So Richard, did you have time to wipe all the lichen off your tiles?
No.
Or not?
There is a broken tile to the right, Richard. What happened there?
Did you get acid wash?
Yeah. It's been there.
What's the plug for, Richard? You collecting birds or something on that?
This thing here?
Yeah.
That's so I can pull the cable through.
Oh, okay.
Oh, such a smart man.
Yeah.
Who's done this before?
I haven't.
The things they do at that men's shed during the day is amazing. Absolutely amazing, those boys, I tell you.
So there you go.
That's pretty good. I must admit.
That's
I love it.
good.
Richard, just keep that up for 1 or 2 moments longer.
Which one?
Because
We're going to
I've-
steal it right now.
Yeah,
Photocopy
copyright gone.
on Nigel,
Which
and Harold's bringing them out tomorrow. Tile Tuckers by
How's that
Harold.
one?
Yeah, that's pretty good. That is awesome.
Nice coach bolt. Did you put that in as well?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Good work. How'd you get on the roof?
Oh, I just crawled out a window. Didn't put up a ladder.
Jesus, well done.
Does the Zimmer frame have like a roof attachment?
It's got a like a
That's good.
strap
I
on
like
it.
that.
It's got
That's mean.
That's your
There
so
you go.
Russell, that's shit. I didn't think of it
So,
first.
so Harold,
Yes.
I did actually
Really good.
order the Ethernet adapter because why not? And so
Yeah, and I think you do need it. So I think ironically it goes from wireless to the Ethernet adapter, then to Ethernet. So it's kind of going backwards, but that'll be the easiest thing to use.
so I
And
can do all my backups the way I'm doing now. So yeah.
and you were saying that's $60.
Yeah. Again in America, it's
So
20.
Richard, you've built this bracket.
Yeah.
You've ripped off your roof tile. You've installed the bracket.
Yeah.
But you're not sure if you're getting the Starlink now.
No, I have ordered it. So
Oh,
it's
you
fine.
have ordered. Oh, okay. I thought you said you weren't sure if you were getting
I'm
it.
not as dumb as I look.
I just couldn't work out where we were going with this story. I was like,
No, I was asking Harold, should I get an Ethernet set up?
oh,
But
no.
I've done
Are
it.
you getting the square dish or are you getting the round square dish? Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting a new square one.
Apparently the square dish, it's much better because you can't get ABC on the square dish. I heard safer. They've improved a few things since things have changed.
Don't know about that. Anyway, so we'll see. So it's on its way apparently.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have they got have they sent you tracking information yet, or a
Yeah.
tracking?
3 weeks, Richard.
Oh.
3 weeks.
2 weeks.
Not 2.
2 weeks.
It's
Three?
also
No,
2
3.
weeks.
Not 2.
2
We've
weeks.
had 2
2 weeks.
before.
When it turns up, it turns up. That's it.
How much was it, Richard?
Yeah. Too much. It was
Has it gone up or was it still $800 or
about
$900?
$1,000 all up,
Oh, with the dish and the you're installing it yourself. You're not getting Nigel's mate to put it up or anything.
Well, I've installed my bloody bracket there. It's very simple to install Starlink. You put it on
Hey,
top.
Nigel got someone out to do it and cost him $350.
Yeah, well, it's good. Nigel's a grumpy old man. I'm a young stupid person.
Yeah.
Right of reply, Nigel. Right of reply.
Yeah, right of reply, Nigel.
But
Come
no,
back
he's,
with your
he's
frame.
perfectly correct. I am a grumpy old sod, and,
Yeah.
and he is a very young-looking person.
Yeah. Who's got a black belt, mind you, to take you out with one fucking hey, shut your heart off. Is that right, Nigel?
No,
So,
no,
Richard,
I can blink and take him out, mate.
Yeah, blink. Blink.
Richard, can you just bring up that image just one more time, please, of your setup?
Yeah.
That's just for the Chinese builder that
Which
Harold's
one?
commissioning to get
Yeah,
made
yeah.
up.
Look at that. Now, look, that is just an expert installation. All right, thanks for that, Richard. And I'll show you.
Is that cold gal on that? Have you rust
it's real,
protector?
it's real galv, but then I just sprayed it with some more cold galv as well.
So you've put rust protector on as well on the welds? And,
Wait. Yeah, no, I just cold galv it, and I use stainless steel rods. So
This is what I did to
Stainless
my
steel.
install on a house. I think you'll find it's very stable.
No, that's much more stable, Harold. That's much better.
I call that the 40 kilogram twin sandbag.
bags.
In
Twin
fact,
bags.
you'll notice I
Right.
went to Bunnings and I was going to actually cut this bag open and pour the sand
That's
down
great.
until I realized I could actually fit the entire bag in the sandbag. So they are
See,
two
that's a
20
much-
kilo
that's-
bags.
That's a much more practical install, that one. Much more sensible. And
Yeah,
the conduit, what's that conduit you're using for the cable?
Oh yeah, the special conduit. Yeah, notice how
Yeah.
the water just beads off the
Beads off it.
the special conduit.
I know
crush
one other
proof.
guy that can show you one better photo. Pete, have you got your installer, mate? Can we see your? You want to show your?
I don't know where. I'll have to.
Hey,
find
you can
the
always,
photo
hey,
on my
Pete, if you
phone.
get stuck, you can always play the, the other
You
business
need
that
a
you're
chainsaw
doing
for your
for.
install, Pete.
Yeah, you
Still
can always
use a
play.
chainsaw.
You can always play that one because that's one of the Christmas highlight reel. That one, it's on the package, isn't it, Harold?
That's
Yeah.
just champagne. That is
That's
just.
the Champagne Pete's. No, but his install one was pretty good. Where he
Yeah, exactly. I'm also trying to find.
Part of my greatest hits.
It's
Hey,
top,
Pete and Harold.
top five hits.
Pete and Harold, how good is your Wi-Fi router, or are you using their router?
No, he's not. I can speak for Harold. He's
So
not
full
using their
disclosure,
router.
I
here we
was
go.
using Starlink until about a month ago for my computer. I am using it for my Apple TV because I found that the ISPs seem to rip a lot of people off at night time, where you get crappy. I've got fiber to the house, fiber to the premise, so 100 megabits, no problem, except when you go this time of night and you get peak usage where everyone is streaming and students are playing first, whatever you call it,
Call of Duty.
Right,
Fortnite nowadays.
Exactly, or Fortnite.
What's the next one? Anyway,
So
doesn't matter.
I'd be getting crap while watching Netflix or whatever. I get crappy, it would all pixelate and stuff. But for Ask Us Anything, a couple of times it's zoned out, like the Starlink has gone out for like 10-20 seconds, and that's long enough for Zoom to kick me off, and then it splits the recording, and it's just a bit of a pain. So I'm using NBN for the main internet, but I still use Starlink. So, but the router, what I did was I've got a Dream Ubiquiti
Dream
Machine Pro, and I actually had the Ethernet cable from Starlink directly from the dish straight into the router, because you don't need to use their wireless router. But Richard, in your case, that question is different to whether wrong people to ask, because you're getting the square dish, which is in one sense completely different. I think even your router is superior to the round dishes router. For those internet geeks, it's something like you've got a 3x3 MIMO, which means you've got better beam shaping for
Wi-Fi 6.
It's a Wi-Fi 6 setup, whereas I think the existing the round dish routers are a 2x2, and I don't even, to be honest, know what that actually means. But
radio waves.
It's just better.
Go on, Jared. What does it mean, mate? Come on.
Mate, you're Rich. You get so break down. Is it right?
Yeah. So
it's coming down now. Tell you about it, but can't get it through. Sorry?
You did that too well, mate. Just too well.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, better than what you're doing. Yeah, Dream Machine is a great router. It's a really good, awesome router.
Yeah, but you can just use the Starlink's router, and it's for domestic purposes. It's
it depends what you want.
Good, but sorry, but Richard, what you need to do is you're going to get your Ethernet adapter. Then you connect that cable into effectively the WAN port, the input port of your Telstra router, so that
probably using.
It accepts the internet into it. You just might need to look up the serial number, not the serial number, the model number, or the model name of the router. I forget if it's a Technicolor or whatever it is, whatever the brand is, and then just Google, either connecting Starlink, because there's probably a sufficient number of Starlinks in Australia now for that to be a common thing, or common enough, and just work out how to do the settings to get your Telstra router to accept Starlink's internet.
I saw it on YouTube, but if this wireless thing is broadcasting well enough, I'll just use it. I won't.
Yeah, correct.
Yes, yeah. But for your backup disk thing, your NAS or whatever.
I'm just going to plug that into the Ethernet port.
Yes. Oh, okay. Is that the only thing you've got that's pluggable? Yep. That's plugged in. Everything else is wireless. Oh, cool. Okay, well,
so
that'll probably work pretty well.
With the mobile Starlinks now, I've got a couple of questions. Firstly, does that mean you can upgrade your plan to be a mobile one with the one you've got now, or do you got to buy a whole new one?
No. So you can do it now for $35 extra per month.
Yeah. So do you reckon there'll be a market for people who hire these out for events? Like if you're like a
definitely
Targa West or whatever, and you need
people already doing it now.
Hire them out for like $1,000 for the weekend or something.
Russell, there's people already doing it now. So all these big festivals, that happen locally in the park somewhere, like a massive festival, the first thing that the English touring crews want over the rider of drinks and the rider of food is to have high-speed internet connected so they can stream to their wives and children at home while they're waiting for the setup. So one of the most priority thing that they want is high-speed internet. So yeah, there's already companies now that are providing that. There's already
Jared, to this point, I presume it's using like what the broadcasters do for open area broadcasts, is they use
satellite
2
truss.
or 3 or 4 GSM dongles, and they then put them into a combiner, and then they basically multiplex that, so you've got redundancy and extra bandwidth. I forget what they call it, something tie.
Yeah, but
line
this
tie.
that's for areas that already have mobile coverage. I'm thinking of like when I've run events before, we have intermittent connectivity with like radios and phone and whatnot.
Yep.
I guess I'm just talking about like right now. I don't know of anybody who's hiring out Starlinks for event purposes.
Not Starlinks, but there's other companies that are hiring out satellite dishes. And
so Russell, given that like Pete and I and Nigel, you're on Starlink. Well, you that's your only form of internet, isn't it?
It is
Nigel?
my only form of internet. Yeah.
So I don't have access on my PC anymore of the Starlink, but full disclosure, you will get dropouts from time to time for between a couple of seconds to a few seconds, sometimes a bit longer, and there's no way to predict when it's going to happen. So if you're looking at live streaming, it's not perfect, but if you're looking at needing to get access to large amounts of data up or down, then it is absolutely perfect. So if you're in a remote area and you're recording something, and say you're a news or a broadcaster or something, and you need to then upload that back to head office, Starlink is absolutely perfect. Or if you want to transfer large files,
it'd be for safety communications and like timing and stuff like that. So like, because I'm just thinking out loud here, but like if people have these sitting around, surely you can put up some sort of advertisement. You can hire them to these sort of places, or start making some money back off that $1,000 you have to spend to buy one that you've just got sitting around.
Oh, it's a bit like buying FSD on your car, Russell. You pay 10 grand and it just sits there doing nothing much,
and only working intermittently as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But I'll tell you what, oh God, well, if you go to the map.
So you just say, I offered you $200 to hire it for a day. That wouldn't be something that people that would want to do.
Jared can answer that.
I'm just thinking like buying one for the same hire and ad.
There's already companies that are doing it now. So
for that cheap.
What do they charge?
Well, they don't do it that cheap, because when you kind of talk that level, people go, this is not us. We want a high quality.
Yeah, I'm talking about like something like, I don't know.
Comes with it. Generally, there's like
in like the hills of Kalamunda who's got no
maybe.
access to.
Yeah, maybe, but the average guy who's doing a major festival, they have 2 or 3 guys that they're IT guys, and they specialize in making sure those connections stay connected. That's I've seen that.
Yeah, that's not the market though, I'm guessing. Like,
what market are you after?
The people who don't have any communications at all. Like, it's almost like it's nothing, or this.
You could probably find someone. I'm sure there'd be those smaller.
The big thing is on this Starlink.
Oh, that's got better.
Oh, it gets better all the time.
So it's basically anything south of Geraldton. South of Northampton. No, it wasn't Northampton. Well, yeah. Anyway, basically Gregory, all the way across Australia. All of this area in light blue is completely covered. Now, incidentally, if you go in here, it's starting in Q1 2023. But if you order the RV version of Starlink, you can actually, like for instance, if you're in Karratha, you can order the RV version and they will ship it to you to Karratha, even though you won't be able to get access there. Now,
I thought it was didn't Richard Chapman have it in Karratha, Port Ellen?
No,
that's when he was
work colleagues. We thought initially that she was in Karratha, but she was actually in Perth.
I may have made a boo-boo.
Yeah.
Yes.
You might have been hanging out with Gabriel, smoking some of that Colombian reefer.
So,
but she did say, yeah, she's very sorry that she doesn't join in on Wednesday nights, but she has jazz band practice. So
totally understand.
But they are going to get a Model 3.
You say jazz hands practice, like
I think
Jazz
so.
hand. Jazz hand practice.
Jazz hands practice.
Yeah.
He's
Come on, everyone.
He's been watching the Wiggles today too much with his boy. I pretend.
Too much Emma Wiggle.
Too much Emma Wiggle.
but what she could do
she's
is
gone
actually,
now.
or anyone in
I don't know.
the northern part could actually just go and order a dish and get it delivered wherever they are. And, you know, in the next 6 months, you'll get service all the way across Australia, unbroken. You can be anywhere in all of this region and you've got 200 megabits per second.
So many people up on site have ordered it, and we're used to looking at using it commercially. And I also want to see if I can put it on my locos as a backup path for comms. So
I don't think they have it in Bustleton on that jetty. So I don't.
They sure do.
On that loco,
All the
the
way
dish
along.
is bigger than the dish is bigger than the train. The
Well,
loco.
Richard,
What about boats,
imagine.
What about
So-
like boats? Like if you go out to sea and you haven't got mobile reception,
cool.
will it work out
good,
there or not?
good point. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Rottnest
one of
Island.
the
Does it work in
best
Rottnest Island?
Or will the movement of the boat stuff up the actual connection?
No, it won't. No, it won't, Russell.
I think
in
it'll be
fact,
just fine.
Rottnest, out of interest, Rottnest is deliberately
Oh.
covered, literally covered. There's an
Oh.
extra hexagon.
So what? It's like.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there you go. So
That's cool.
So you could go to Rotto, take your
and take
dish
your
with
dish
you,
Yeah.
do an RV for a month,
Yeah.
and you got high-speed internet.
Well, and in fact, Paul, if you have
Not
a
allowed,
dish,
not
you can actually bring your dish with you because it works. I've already proven that it works within about 30k radius of where you
Yeah.
said. Anyway,
So Harold, have you got the roaming one yet? Have you got the
No.
paid?
no, I
Maybe you
no,
should
but
get the the roaming one and go check like what's it like with the.
yeah, my problem is I've actually my biggest problem is you saw the actually I'll dig that image out, but when I installed the first dish on my house I'm living in, oh man, it's on like a 36-degree pitched steel roof.
Yeah.
It's just.
Have you got another dish? I thought you had two.
I've got another one, but that's at a rental at a place I'm renting for my kids to live in,
Yeah,
and that's
right.
their internet at the moment.
Well, this is
because
a
I
good
figure
excuse now for you to get a third.
Well, no, I think
and you
that's
can get the
slightly-
square one to see if it works. So we
Well,
can.
I'm thinking that
Well, you mean to have a
there's room
square
for a
one between the
Tokwa
two round
loan
ones?
one.
That would be a bit phallic there, Jared.
Well, loan
But
one.
yeah, sorry, go on, Steve.
A Tokwa loan one. That's a good idea there, Harold. Well done.
Yeah, that's a Tokla loan one. There you go,
You
Russell.
pick up your charging cables and your
Russell, and
Starlink
your charging cable, and you can borrow the internet for the weekend. And
It's
Well,
gonna
that's what I
have
was trying to get at before.
That's
I
a
was
good
trying to get him to
idea.
hire it out,
The
but he
club-
wasn't taking the bait.
the
I
club,
was trying to like
you
buy
pay
one for the club,
$20.
hire it out for $200 a weekend, make your money back.
Oh, I don't $300
New
a
one.
weekend.
The square
This
one's
is-
only 4 kilos.
This is the club is based of a lot of mature people that can't afford.
Well, Harold's brain's going. It's hitting me.
It is.
He's
It's going
going-
crazy.
he's
No,
going-
the club
Oh,
should
shit, I'm gonna
provide.
buy
I think it's a great idea. That's a great idea.
That's just cost me money. Yeah, all right, we'll do.
You use our money.
You're
Use
welcome.
Use the membership money.
Yeah,
It's up
hire
to
it out.
$22 a year. Come on.
Yeah,
But the
people
problem
would
is
pay.
actually, ironically, the round one would be better because our Tokwa logo sticker would fit better. But anyway, we can use the square one.
Well, you could just swap it out.
It'd be
Could
great
do.
idea to hire it out
Could
when
do.
you go for a cable. So when
No,
you-
actually, the square one's better because you can have a much shorter cable. Because the round one's got like a 15. No, it's
No,
longer
it's
than
like 30. It's like
that.
30.
30 meter cable. Yeah,
Well,
it's
you'll know
ridiculous.
you know in the next couple of weeks which will be there because Carmen right now is going to be ordering a square one and you're going to be putting it on the roof. I guarantee you right now. Carmen's going, Harold, can you come over and just whack this?
The advantage
But
of the
Jared,
square one-
but Jared, I've got the installation manual perfectly sorted. mate.
The advantage of the square one, it's got a removable cable.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Sorry. That's what I was going to say, Richard.
Was that
the
before
square one's
Wednesday
better
just-
because you can have a short cable, or you
And
can, you can have a,
pull it out
a
and
short
change it.
piece.
Was that
Yeah.
before Tuesday night, that photo? Or was that well before Tuesday night?
No, this photo was taken.
Not today.
No, just before we had the storm. The day we had, it
Where's
was
that dish
literally
now? Is
it
that
was
dish
literally
like-
between showers because I had this nightmare of the kids ringing me up going, "We've got no internet," and the dish being face down with the motor trying to a bit like a tortoise on its back,
crawling
trying to right itself,
crawling
and then
itself
rolling
off the
around.
roof.
It really is a first world problem, Harold.
What if it blows over? It's not. It's $1,000 problem.
Yeah, 1,000 exactly.
Yes, and in fact, the round dishes actually cost SpaceX something more like double that. But it seems the square ones now are probably costing less than you're actually paying, or about the same. So notice how SpaceX has also said there's no delay. Like they've got no shortage of dishes. If you order it, the RV package in particular, they'll simply ship it to you straight away.
Yeah, my order took 2 days to confirm and said it's on its way.
That's really going to upset the market for that. The companies that were selling the dishes with the camper vans. They're selling the dish with a camper van. You get a couple of channels and all that crap, and that was thousands and thousands of dollars. Now you could get internet in the same anywhere location for $100 and something a week after you pay the $1,000. That's great.
And if you've got Foxtel, you don't need to get a satellite dish. You could just
stream off
it.
that. Yeah.
And 200 megabits per second.
And get Netflix anywhere or any of those. That's great.
Prime, the whole lot.
Just butt in for 2 seconds here.
Nigel.
I'm a bit upset that Jared hasn't insulted me for about 10 minutes, so I'm leaving.
I got 8 minutes. 8 minutes. I got a Zimmer frame joke coming in. Paul told me how long does it take Nigel to put a Zimmer frame together?
Up, Jared. Shut up. Shut up. Will you stop interrupting while I'm talking, or I'll stop? I'm not going to stop interrupting while you're talking, whichever way around it is. I probably won't be able to get on next Wednesday, so
sorry.
Just have to play with himself.
You cheap bastard! Just get on the plain internet. Just
safe travels.
I will be probably just arriving down in the south coast of Kent at that time, so I won't be able to get on. But as I said, I am doing the test drive of a right-hand drive Model Y, and I'll just keep rubbing that in, you bastards.
Give my love to the big smoke, Nigel.
I will make a report for you, hopefully for the following. I'm not sure about that.
Nigel, if you need somewhere to stay, Richard's got
at that time.
Richard's got a house over there.
So Nigel, where are you going?
We're flying to London and we're driving around England a bit, and then we're going to Gibraltar and Spain. Driving around Spain for a bit.
Stopping at Richard's place.
Whereabouts in Spain
You're going to all the British
going?
colonies then?
Oh, look, not too many
Nigel,
places.
where are you going in Spain?
We're driving up to Madrid and then Valencia and Barcelona.
Muy bien, muy
He's
bien.
catching up with some drug dealers.
What about Toledo?
No, we've got it all booked out what we're doing, and then we're going around the Mediterranean and coming home towards the end of June.
Yeah.
So,
Have you got a base in the UK?
No, I've got some relatives and friends that we're staying with.
A cup of tea and a scone. Want a cup of tea?
Well, if you
and a
want to
scone?
pop into my mum in Bournemouth, you're always welcome.
Yep.
Bournemouth, I don't think we're going down that way. As I said, we're driving from Heathrow, see my cousin, then we're going down to South Coast Kent. And
you can pop in and see Emma's dad.
Test driving Model Y, right-hand drive, Model Y. Test driving Model Y, guys.
Nigel, why?
What?
Why?
Where?
Why?
Yeah.
Safe travels.
Yeah.
Miss you already. And yeah,
you keep safe as well.
Be safe, Nigel.
Nigel, even if you just for 2 minutes, just hop on, in the afternoon on the Wednesday, just say hello.
Probably by about 10 or 11 o'clock at night, WA time, I might just be able to manage it.
Get on, Nigel. We'll be sad if we don't see you next week.
Yeah, well, you won't have anybody to insult, will you, Joe?
That's what I mean. I have to go back to Richard Cooper.
Excuse me, I said he's got me. He's always got me.
He'll fall asleep in the next
He
half
doesn't
an hour.
insult you, Richard. He's very complimentary to you.
When I'm awake.
Yeah, when he's awake, when he's asleep, he should hear what I say.
You miss it all when you're asleep. Anyway,
time for Nigel's bedtime.
Yes.
Nap time.
Nighty night, Nigel. Safe travels. Have fun with the Y.
Be safe and enjoy.
Be safe, Nigel.
And if I can, I might send. I'll put a little thing together and send it to Harold that you can play and lovingly watch.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Upload to the Facebook page.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
do
have a
some
great trip and enjoy
Awesome.
that Model
Thanks,
Y.
Nigel.
Okay.
Happy travels.
Oh, tell us what movies
Yeah.
were on the
Good
flight,
trip.
Nigel.
Bye.
Any good ones? Oh.
Alrighty. So now we're all collectively jealous that Nigel's going to be the first TOCWA member to
Yeah.
drive a Model Y.
Yeah.
Right-hand version, apparently.
Bastard.
Oh, yes.
Should have lucky
Oh,
simmer frame
man.
brakes. Can't get in there.
Stories I could tell. Anyway.
Or
Any more questions? Otherwise, I can.
are you going to pull a pie graph out on Nigel's travels?
No, pie graphs will be banned.
He's going to pull
Oh,
a pie
Russell.
graph out.
Well done,
you've got a
mate.
pie graph on Nigel's travel. He's going to.
What are the proportion of Nigel's travel that's going to be? Yeah. Anyway. Go, Russell. You-
Oh no, I was there anyone else who's got questions? There's a couple of lurkers. I don't know if they're waiting for an opportunity to speak or.
No, that's the ATO. Just checking up on Harold.
I do have one more.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yes, go at him.
So I've noticed a couple of times when I'm charging on a fast charger, I get to the 100%, it says charge complete, but then it looks like it's still taking on 2 or 3 kilowatt hours.
So it's just topping it up,
Yeah, so it's just
balancing the batteries right at the end.
So at what point will it stop?
It depends how long it's been since last time you did it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't done it for 6 months, it might go for 20 minutes. If you did it last week, it might only go for a couple of minutes. So it's just rebalancing all the cells.
Right, cool. Now I've only had the car for 9 weeks now, so
It's
So,
not
Adam,
a
you
bad
mentioned-
thing to do every. Sorry.
So I was just going to say quickly. So you mentioned when you were fast charging, so it's probably better if you want to get it to really 100%. I mean, unless you're on like a trip where you need that extra range, it's probably a lot better just to do that at home, because to tie up a fast DC charger, getting the last 0.25% to 100 is a bit wasteful of time.
Sure.
I'm more thinking of if someone else is waiting to use that DC charger because they're so rare, but obviously at home you've got all the time in the world. But as Pete said, it's really got to do with it does sort of say charging complete or 100%, but it still does keep going to do its best to absolutely top off the battery and balance it. And the only way it can balance it is by drawing power off the highest voltage cells. So it can't really selectively charge cells. It can only selectively discharge cells. So it can take quite a while to do that precisely.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
But yeah, don't bother doing it at a fast DC charger. Just get to 95% or whatever, or even nearly 100. Go home and then just top it up. Even if it's on 10 amp, it won't take long because it doesn't require a lot of energy. Just a lot of power. It just takes a bit of time.
Yeah, cool. No worries.
But also with the busier superchargers, you'll probably find they stop you at 80%. So then you've got to be in the car and override it to 100% to actually. So even if you put it at 100% to begin with, and let's say you're in Karrinyup and go and do your shopping, you'll probably find that it's cut you out at 80.
Yeah, it's one near Karrinyup that it's
well up.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Guelph one, the 50 kilowatt.
Yeah, 50 kilowatts. Yeah, that's
You've
it.
got to pay for that one now too, don't you?
No. Pay? What?
Oh,
Which one?
So did you say no, Adam?
Apparently the network thing on it's broken and it's free.
oh,
There you go.
hang on.
I'm probably going to get killed for breaking.
So hang on. Paul's on his way.
Well, what's that pair of pliers in your hand? Paul's got a pair of pliers. What's that about, Paul?
Paul, I wouldn't call you cheap, I'd call you sensible.
So if I can share my screen for a sec,
Yeah,
I'll just
absolutely.
show you.
Maybe don't record. Take it off record.
No.
Nice
it's,
tail, Jared.
Show us
I know it was a nice goatee there, Jared.
Oh yeah, that's a little. I was doing a Pete, and then a little Bear Grylls number going on.
So this is my little graph, and so you can see the cost down here. I haven't paid for any charging since beginning of the month. So, and that's because I've been visiting chargers that are free.
Geez, Adam, you really are. Adam, you're an absolute tight ass.
Yes,
Well done.
absolutely.
You probably got the original shopper dockets from your shopping experience and your first pocket money that you were given as a child.
That's a very nice dashboard.
Yeah.
So I've actually got over 10,000
You need to hang out with
mine
Russell.
now, and still yet to pay 1 cent so far.
Russell's got a graph for like that. Haven't you, Russell? Show me your graph, Russell. Actually, Russell can bring out a prop. He's got a prop with his graphs, and he can show you one of his props, which are bloody amazing props.
So to back that up, someone called Woody159, who unfortunately has an Outlander, it says didn't ask for payment. Suspect this is under investigation already.
Yeah.
Well, that was that was 16th of May.
What a
and you'll see I'm there a few times. So 22nd of May.
So Murphy checked it.
Yes.
While we're talking about charging, the one at His Majesty's Theatre. So can you go to that one, please? So I was I drove into work the other week and had to park, and this is me. There's last couple of photos there. There's first two, yeah. Finally got to use the adapter, and yeah, free charging all day as much as you want.
Yes.
Obviously not me, that one, but yeah, if you go back.
Sorry, no, the other one.
Is
Sorry.
that why you took? Is that why you took the toaster with you to work? Just free power.
Well, I had to drive in because I had to take my daughter to daycare, and yeah, the parking was like $20 for a day, but I was at 20% when I got there, so I put in all the way up to 90. So I got probably more value out of the charge than I did for the parking.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I guess that's a pro tip for best value if you're an EV owner, rather than going to one of the other car parks and all you get's the parking. You're right, Russell. You can get more value out of the juice than the actual car park.
And also, hot tip
go,
for
Russell.
those who are subscribers, there is actually free parking in those car parks on the weekend. So you drive in for free, charge your car, drive out, don't have to pay anything at all.
So when you say subscribers, what do you mean subscribers?
The YouTube subscribers of this channel. Because they're watching it, right?
Yeah, they are.
The people actually
lots and lots of people are watching it,
Lots of
It's
people
almost
are
10
watching
o'clock.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's
They've
right.
liked
Like Elon Musk that watches us every week.
Yeah, so City of Perth parking is free on the weekends at the moment because they're trying to bring people back to the city. So these parking lots are free to enter on the weekends. So you can drive there and charge. There's also some AC charging, like the regular, I think it's 10 amp or something there as well. You can plug into. But those charging spots there at His Majesty's are right at the front, but it doesn't specify you have to be charging. So when I've been there, there's another guy that I got on my camera. He pretty much just parks there all day and doesn't charge. He just like sits in it.
That's what you call a wanker.
There's also Pier Street car park.
There's also that hotel.
That's
Keep
dodgy,
going
that
down,
one.
Harold.
It's got all birds and shit in it.
Bring that maps up again, the charge maps. There's also that hotel, next to the Hyatt Regency, the other one, next down here in the water.
Como.
No, not the Como. Down here near the Hyatt, next to the Hyatt. Keep going down. Keep going across. Keep going. Yeah, that one. No,
that's Fairlane's Apartments.
No, there's one. There's a hotel down here that I charged at next to the Hyatt. What's it called? The bloody Ibis. No. It's just it's one. There's a hotel right here. I can't think of the name of it, and it's got free.
Was it 3-phase or was it?
No, it was a standard. It was a Tesla charger.
Oh.
It's got two there, two Tesla chargers.
Yeah, no, sorry. I get
it's
that
right off Terrace Road. It's right off Terrace. It's right next to the Hyatt. That's it. The Crown.
Yep.
Yeah, you're free parking all day at the back and two Tesla chargers.
Oh, you shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, I kept it secret. Yeah.
Well, it's not now.
Of course not. Everyone that watches us.
January,
Thank you, Guam from Mexico, and Pablo.
Isn't it funny?
Number
Plugshare
plate
thinks that's a number plate, so they censored it.
Yeah.
Yes, and is that free parking there, Jared?
Well, technically, it's free parking. If you know Guido, the drug dealer, he's further up there at the dark spot. It's free parking. So.
Right.
But okay. I pull up there occasionally and park up and charge up and go and get a drink from the bar and then come back and then.
Well, further to Russell's thing, the Pier Street car park is also another one, and I presume that City of Perth, that's also free as
You got to
well.
pay.
Mm.
No, on weekends. I mean,
Oh,
free on
weekends. Yeah, right.
Right, so I've got
You
some
know,
more hot
the
takes,
city's
but
very
they're-
busy on the weekends in Perth.
But go, Russell.
I got some more hot takes, but they require a pause temporarily.
Oh,
Are you
yes.
going to bring out? Are you going to bring out the prop, Russell? You're going to show the guys.
Let's just go on pause, and we'll be right back with our regular scheduled program. And welcome back. Russell, something I think that might be interesting. I know John Edwards had some frustration with the way that his car, the race car, was performing on fast DC charging, where it would like try and heat the battery and all that sort of stuff. I think you mentioned a while ago that there were some options that you could buy, and I think you've done a bit of research into it. So can you describe that sort of product?
Yeah. So it's an aftermarket product that you get from Germany or something like that, and it essentially has, it adds. So for his car, he's the performance. It's very temps like live on the screen, but you can also pick things like a battery warm, and it will override anything the car's doing and warm the battery like on demand. So whether it says static, they're sitting there. So I guess the use case would be it's early in the morning and you want to like drag straight away as soon as you get your driveway before the car warms up. Just hit the battery warmer. Once you get in the car, it should be ready to go, rather than doing the pre thing. It's also got things like automatic door open on approach, so you can like walk towards the front sensor of your car and the door will pop open for you. It does. You can control the rear heated seats from the windscreen. Sorry, the windscreen. The window openers as well. So the passengers can turn their seats on by themselves if they like.
How do they do that? Is that with by putting the window up when it's already up, like the switch, or is it?
Yeah, you tap it like a couple of times and it does it. It's not just a single one. Yeah. You can also adjust the level of regeneration, so you can change it from like 0 to 100%. So you can override the default in the car. I think on race mode performances, it's either off or on. I'm not sure if there's like a percentage or not.
On track mode, you can adjust your regen level.
Yeah, so I guess you can do that then on like non-performance models as well. But yeah, it doesn't really affect him. But then also a separate add-on you can get is a throttle controller, which essentially overrides the voltage signal that's going to the computer. So there's 3 different settings for it and 6 different levels, but essentially each one's got a different curve profile. So there's comfort, sport, and race. And like race 6, which is the hardest, like the I guess most extreme, essentially any depression of the throttle gives you 100% acceleration instantly.
It's an on-off button, basically. It's either throttle on, throttle off.
Throttle switch.
Yeah, and it also works in reverse as well. So if you in reverse and you hit it, it goes just as fast backwards as it does forwards in acceleration. So if you accidentally have it in race mode, trying to park the car in the garage, just be careful.
You won't.
So it's all pretty easy to navigate with. The throttle controller is just like a little button you can sort of just touch wherever you put it. So if you want to drag someone at the lights, you can quickly swap it to race mode or whatever. But the other controller works off Wi-Fi, so you need to control it through your phone. Your phone has to be connected to that device on Wi-Fi, which essentially takes away your internet, so you don't get internet when you use it. So you can live change things for it. So if you wanted to turn the battery on warming or whatever, you just touch the app and it'll just turn on straight away.
Well, Russell, the biggest question is because the biggest issue John Edwards or Jürgen has in John's car is when they're fast DC charging it, it actually deliberately turns on the battery heater, right? The big question is, can you turn it off?
Oh, no, you can either have it not engaged or turn it on. There's no like turn off battery heating. It's only if the car's trying to cool itself down and you turn it on, it will warm back up again. But there's no, from what I can tell, you can't tell it to stop the heating. It's like active. It's active to heat or not active at all.
So in other words, it's a heat override as opposed to a heat on or heat off.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Effectively, right? Because
But having said that, not many people in the world have much use for that sort of scenario you're talking about. It's not to say they can't do it. It's just they probably haven't thought about it. So I would think that if he had that special case to have that scenario done, he could probably contact them. They could probably just build it into the app.
yeah, right. Because it's not just him. Because that's the issue that they have is if the batteries, even if I have a low power fast DC charger such as the Delta 20 kilowatt DC charger, Tesla seems to be in this mode of if it's being charged with AC, it doesn't bother heating the battery at all, ever. If it's being charged with DC, regardless of how low that level is, it wants to heat the battery to its ideal temperature, which is 40 plus degrees at least. So regardless of whether it's a 150 kilowatt or 250 kilowatt supercharger or a 20 kilowatt slow DC charger. So if he could turn that off, that would absolutely transform the way they can race that car.
Well, I think that the heater only lets it go to 28 degrees, not past that. So once you turn the heater on, it'll only go to 28, then it'll just like disengage. So maybe it might override it to only get to 28.
Yeah, the only thing is that it sounds like the override is a heat on override as opposed to a turn the heater off regardless sort of thing,
Essentially.
which is what John really needs. But it would certainly be interesting to contact these people and say, is it something you can do? Because he'd get that in a heartbeat.
I mean, if someone had one, they could maybe test it with him or something to see if that would work.
Cool. Yeah, that would be interesting.
What's the hardware install on one of these things? Does anybody know?
Yeah, so it's much easier on left-hand drive vehicles because the way the connections to the computer go face like out, I guess you could say. It's easy to with the right-hand drive vehicles. You essentially have to take off the underside of the glove box and the side panel that's up against the charging, and then up under the glove box there's some wiring back there which you have to essentially pull out and then slot yours in line with it, and then plug it sort of back in again.
That it's a little grey cable that's really, really hard to get to.
That's the one, yeah. And with the throttle controller, that's much easier. That's like, you can do that one in like 5 minutes.
So Russell, it's not a CAN bus override, so you don't get access to the back center console, the back part like you do with those CAN bus.
It's at the front of the car.
Right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's other versions as well that you can get that go straight to the rear motor. So you jack the car up and you plug it in under the car itself. There's a few different types out there.
Yep.
Which they all offer different things though. They're not all the same in terms of functionality. Some just have the power and some other things as well. They do also come with like two modules. So one's like the actual module that supplies the overrides, and the other one is like this module that bypasses any sort of like spyware that Tesla might have that try to detect if it's in the car.
Yep.
So it's it's a little bit hacky.
What would someone have to pay for all this stuff?
Well, the power thing is $1,500 Australian delivered. So it's like half the cost of the regular power boost for a long range. But once again, you don't get those other functions. And the throttle controller, I think it was like, I can't remember how much it said on the website, but it was like, I think it was like 400 or something, 500 maybe. That one, if you had to look at the functionality and what you can do with it, how easy it is to put in, that one's much easier to do. And that would work in any car, whether it's a standard range or a long range or a performance. You could get the same sort of benefits out of all those. And that one, I guess, in terms of like using it as well, you can switch it off and on pretty easily. And in terms, if you want to take it off, it's like 5 minutes, you can rip it out, and it doesn't really take very long.
Cool, awesome. So you said $1,500 for the power boost, and what Tesla's standard power boost is 3,000?
3,000, yeah, Australian.
Yep.
Yeah, but once again, you don't get those extra functionalities that you get.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. And that's from Germany, you say?
Yeah.
Cool. Very interesting. Sehr interessant.
Yeah, John's keen. I'm sure he could check something out.
Oh, look, like I said, John's biggest issue is the fact that when they do any form of DC charging, because what they do is they use Jürgen uses track mode, and one of the problems with track mode is regardless of what the car is actually doing, as soon as it's in track mode, the cooling system goes to full cooling mode regardless. And
Yeah.
there's actually a Bjorn Nyland video where he's gone to the Nokian, who are a tire manufacturer in Norway. Well, I think I don't know exactly where they make the tires, but I think they're based in Norway, and they have a test track, and obviously it was a couple of months ago. It was winter, and they use track mode to obviously test the different versions of their studded tires and etc. And the biggest issue they've got is, even though it's minus 10 degrees outside, the car is doing its best to cool itself down. So it's actually deliberately chilling the battery further than it needs to go. And then it takes forever for them to recharge the battery because it's trying its best to then reheat the battery to charge it on their DC
And they can't
charger.
take it out of track mode when they're charging?
Oh, it's irrelevant.
Oh no, the thing is, the problem is when they were in track mode, so they can get all the drifting and reduced traction control, which is why they have it in track mode in the first place. One of the side effects is it actually
deliberately.
Yeah, so
deliberately chills the battery.
No, but they wouldn't have it in that while it's needing to be charged, while they're charging it.
Oh no, but you go in with a cold battery. You've got a 10-degree battery.
Yeah, okay. So
yeah,
then
but
heat it.
so the add-in, you can turn drift mode and stuff on as well. So you can essentially replicate track mode, but you can have the battery warming on as well.
Oh,
that's what I thought. That's what I was trying to get at before.
So what it means is you could invoke track mode without the penalty of having the active battery cooling, perhaps.
Yeah, you can.
The overactive battery cooling.
So the actual the boost power that only works on a long range, right? You can't get the boost. I think Damo had a question about that. So for performance, you're not getting any more performance, but you can essentially turn battery heating on while you're in track mode in inverted commas, because you'll be regular. You turn off the traction control, you change your regenerative braking to whatever you want, turn the battery heating on, and then you just go for it.
Yeah, we don't need battery heat. What I mean is the issue is you don't need battery heating if you can stop it from cooling.
Yeah, it won't cool because it won't be in track mode. It'll be in standard,
But then he turns up to the service spot with a hot battery.
That's right.
Yes. And that's what you want. You want a hot battery when you're charging. So that way you don't waste 7 kilowatts. Because the issue is in some setups, they have a 20 kilowatt delta. And what it does is you plug it in and the car decides to use 7 kilowatts to heat the battery. So you're losing more than a third of the potential power, going into the battery.
But here's a question. If he's been racing around at breakneck speeds, how cold does the battery get? If you're not cooling it, how hot does it get?
No. The problem is when you're in track mode, because they use track mode whenever they're racing.
Yeah,
but
what I'm saying is how hot would the battery get if he's not in track mode? Will it overheat?
No, it won't, because it's in the way that they race, because they're not doing.
They're only doing 12
They're
minutes.
not doing tracks. They're doing long runs and and lots of corners and on dirt roads where you're not full throttle the whole time anywhere near it. So their problem is nothing to do with the battery overheating and needing high cooling effort. The problem is that when they're in track mode, it goes to maximum cooling effort, and it just chills. It actually chills the battery too low, even if you call low 30 degrees. And then when you plug in a DC charger, it insists on running the battery heater to heat the battery to 45 degrees or something, and that's wasting 7 kilowatts. So any car or any Tesla, regardless of if it's in track mode, once it gets to above 40 degrees, it starts not actively cooling, but passively cooling the battery. So running the fans at full rate and whatever, and then once it gets to 50 degrees, it actually uses your aircon to actively chill the battery. So in their case, their biggest issue is arriving at the DC charger too cool and having the heater on when you're charging. So if you could turn overcooling off in track mode and turn heating off in DC charging, that would be nirvana.
Yeah,
that would be ideal.
I reckon that's doable. I was going to go past his warehouse the other week just to see if he was there, talk to him about it, but I ran out of time, and
Yeah, that's cool.
he didn't. I don't think he's got his charge there anymore either, has he?
No, because he's using that for his Targa campaign, I think it is, so it's no longer there anymore. It's been taken off PlugShare, but he will be there. But Richard, you were saying he's done his...
a 9:28 message tonight. I'm laid up horizontal, backpacked in, because I talked about doing some mods to his car. He says I'll be in touch once he's up and running. So
Yeah,
cool.
Oh, we'll send him an email anyway. He sees emails tomorrow or something. I already sent it to him.
Awesome. No, that'll be good. I mean, it's interesting. It's funny because I did look at the sexy buttons because they've got some extra features as well because they've got a CAN bus interface that goes into the back part of your center console with some limited features, but nowhere near as advanced as the ones you mentioned, Russell.
Yeah, and when you do have like the extra horsepower and you turn like drift mode on and you've got your throttle controller set to the max and you just like dump it. I've seen some videos of a lot of smoke, which is quite cool to see close up.
Absolutely. I think that might warm the cockles of many people's hearts, including Damo.
I think really need to ask Carmen what she thinks about the hot battery situation. Carmen, what do you think? I always like to hear what you think.
I haven't been paying attention, Jared.
Oh,
where is the battery?
Don't even go there. Just
actually, Carmen, I've got a more important question for you because I remember last week you were asking us about, you thought it was time to buy Tesla shares, which in hindsight, Harry says that I hope you didn't, but foresight Harry says, or hindsight Harry also says that we suggested to you that rather than putting in a buy price that night of $700, you might want to put in a buy price of $701.
Yes.
And I think from memory, the price went to $700.80
something.
88 cents or something like
I
that.
managed at around 740, 742 or something like that.
Oh, you got some at 742.
I noticed there's 620 today, or 620 or 630.
628. 628.
So that was my question for Pete. Are they going to continue going down?
That depends if Pete shaves or not. If he shaves, they're going to go up. But while he's doing the Bear Grylls look-alike, it's just going to keep going down because he's going after the homeless dollar.
637 at the moment.
Could be 537 tomorrow, Carmen. I'll tell you the way it's going. Only but going south at the moment.
Yeah, I've got that.
We'll go north.
Yes, so I think I might have to buy a couple more. Are we recording?
I think, just hang on 2 seconds.
The following segment is general in nature and shouldn't be taken as personal professional advice. Listeners should seek their own independent assessment from a qualified advisor and not rely on the general nature of information in this program.
Shut up and get out now!
So,
I just threw the link to the throttle controller in the chat. I think Sky put one up, but it wasn't that one that I saw. It was the one I just put the link for was the one that I was reading about.
Oh, this is called tuningbox.com.
That's the one.
Life support. Hello, do you have any questions?
Yeah, how quick can you get from home to daycare? Under 3.4 seconds.
Oh, I just use autopilot. It usually takes me there pretty casually.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep under 40 in that zone.
Yeah,
Unless you-
exactly. So getting back to Carmen's question, so Pete, how low can Tesla go?
Absolutely no idea.
It's gone up $12 today.
Yes.
It's up a couple of percent. Yeah. Who knows? Absolutely no idea. Yeah. It can go as, I mean, it can go to $0.
And then it's time
Oh,
to
let's
go.
hope not.
No, it can't. It won't. Yeah, that's true. It could change. It could add the extra letter Q at the end of its ticker.
I think that's highly unlikely, but you know, and yeah, but,
Anything can happen.
Who knows?
But
yeah,
the main point is, and that as we mentioned in the news, I forget the gentleman's name, but he's the third biggest individual shareholder.
Oh yeah,
Leo Kagale.
Leo Wanker?
Something.
Guam.
No, it's not Leo Wanker.
Guam.
Leo that I know, Leo Wanker.
Is it Guam?
Yeah, it took me a couple of goes to lay down that audio segment, but yeah, but he basically put out that his request that Tesla basically buys back shares because they're cheap at the moment. But is it Gary? No, someone black.
Gary Black.
I'm just trying to find the actual article to show.
Yeah, well, I want my average to go down.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Well, that's one. That's
look.
Yeah, that's
full disclosure, Carmen. I'm long on Tesla, and I'm unlevered, so I own whole Tesla shares. So to be brutally honest, it wouldn't bother me if Tesla went to $100 a share per se, because in the short term.
That's right. It wouldn't bother him
because
if he's on the side of a bridge, getting ready to jump. If it goes to 99.
But no one can take that whole share off me. If I was levered, and I've had experience in being levered in companies before, and it's very painful. If you're levered and you get a margin call and you can't meet it, then you're wiped out and you lose all your money. But if you have the whole share, the share could go to $1.
That's true.
And it just doesn't matter because I'm just trying to find Gary Black's.
No, you don't have to sell.
No, as long as you don't need to sell. And the thing is, the fundamentals of Tesla are so strong. What's that saying, Pete? In the short term,
it's going up.
In the long term, the share market is a weighing machine, but in the short term, it's a voting machine. Is that how it goes? I think it was.
Yeah.
It's popularity.
Weighting, extremely voting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good suicides have happened through shares.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely. But if you've got the whole share and you understand that Tesla is not just it's a single company, but it's a diversified enterprise, and the bad times of the Model 3 ramp, the Model S, near disaster where Elon Musk actually approached Sergey Brin from Google to sell Tesla to him. He basically offered it to him, and he was about to do the deal, and then he went, and this is outlined in Ashley Vance's book about Elon Musk, and Musk went to basically almost every employee of Tesla that wasn't building cars and say, can you get on the phone and try and convert these reservations into actual orders? And almost miraculously, that was done. Like all these sort of nebulous reservations were converted to orders where people committed to buy cars, and in the next few weeks that transformed the company and saved it. It was Elon Musk had already agreed basically to sell it to one of the founders of Google, in desperation just to keep the company alive. I'm just trying to find the tweet where Gary Black basically has projections of cash flow because this investor. So just talk amongst. Has anyone else got another quick question? Just in
there's still
between.
some hazardous times ahead with supply, and there's still a lot of trouble with shipping at the moment.
Yep.
So I know that for a fact. There's a couple of issues going on around the country at the moment with shipping. I know for a fact one of my friends is the production manager for a big show coming up, and they're struggling with transport because one of the main companies called Show Freight, you might have recognized them from years ago. They had a big giant clown on the side of their truck, and they used to be parked out at all the concerts. Well, they sold up to Woolworths. So Woolworths bought all their trucks, which is just under 100 semi-trailers of trucks. And they bought a lot of these trucks and gave them contracts to do more shipping. So they got out of the touring market. Therefore, there's a shortfall on trucks available at the moment. So I know with some of the big tours that are coming through next year, they're struggling with getting the numbers of trucks and transport together. I also know that TNT are short on about 35 drivers in WA. So people that are organising freight to be picked up in Perth, they're not picking it up for 3 days. They're not delivering freight that's supposed to be delivered on a daily basis. They're delivering it about a week late. So at the moment,
2 weeks, Jared.
Yeah, even 2 weeks, exactly. There's a major shortfall everywhere, all over with freight. And that's going to be going on for a while. I think while we're still experiencing COVID, 9,000 people today getting COVID. While COVID's still happening, there's shortfalls. Like they put on the news, that the fire department are going to be to driving ambulances, and 245 guys volunteered to drive ambulances. They didn't mention that there was a very large cash incentive for them to drive ambulances as well as getting paid as a fire department. That's why there's 200 and something volunteers and only 47 positions. So they're doing whatever they can do to get things rolling along that lines. But there is a massive problem with freight and transport at the moment.
Yeah, and I know that too. Getting stuff from China by air freight, the costs are quite high. I have found this tweet. It's obviously by Gary Black, and this is his projection for free cash flows. This is surplus cash after everything's considered, and in 2021 he's talking about $5 billion, which was last year. This year he's looking at $10 billion projection. 2023, $20 billion. This is surplus cash this is over and above the gigafactories that are being built and all the R&D, research and development, tax, everything else. This is literally money, surplus leftover cash in the bank. And then in 2024, $32 billion. 2025, nearly $50 billion. 2026, $68 billion. So between now and 2026, he's projecting $180 billion of just money sitting in a bank vault somewhere.
That would almost pay off Volkswagen's debt, wouldn't it?
No, not quite.
Well, it's
short.
So obviously the issue is what do you do with all that money? Over and above the fact that you're building gigafactories as fast as you can. And Elon Musk always said that now it's not about a lack of money that's holding them back on doing things. It's a lack of manpower, of engineers, developers.
It's the same problem we've got in this country at the moment. We can't get people in on 457.
You could give it to Mary Barra so she could...
Struggling with workers.
If it was in Australia, the government would just subsidise more oil and gas, probably.
Well, now that we've got a government, we might have a fucking chance of doing that, Russell. Because the last fucking puppet show that we had for the last fucking
I'm not so sure that Labor are going to go as far as they need to.
I think they'll do better than
They won't even come close to what's needed, and I'm really frustrated that there's looking likely it's not going to be a minority government. Like it's going to be, from the look of it at the moment, from last indication, it's going to be a majority to Labor, which is frustrating because they don't have any sort of green or independent requirement to satisfy their sort of objectives, which is pretty much what a third of the country voted for, which is just it's just frustrating, I suppose.
Just getting back to that.
Go, Pete.
just going back to that free cash flow projection. So you had about 180 billion over the next 4 years. So to put that into perspective, Tesla's market cap at the moment is about $660 billion. So that's roughly about 30% of your market cap that you in free cash flow over the next 4 years. So, I mean, you show me any other company that has, that has that profile, that cash flow profile relative to its market cap.
Carmen, you should be buying some shares.
Yes, but
why the shares down, Pete?
the thing is that they're still overvalued, though.
Oh,
You
no.
know, it depends what the valuation goes
So
to.
why are the shares down? Why do you think the shares have dropped so
At the moment,
Just put a call into your friends in Russia, come and find out when they're going to finish that up, and then you'll know.
Yeah, just ring that insurance company up and
it's
find
just
out.
gone up to, they're going up 644.84.
Yeah, exactly.
Pete, I mean, I certainly don't have it off the top of my head, and you probably don't either. But we've all got to put aside the Shanghai woes. I mean, in the news, it was reported.
Is it because he's doing Twitter? Is it because
like Twitter's just that's just a distraction.
Why has the share dropped $700 in the last?
No, because the entire market, all the tech
market's gone down.
stocks, it's almost like a second tech wreck, right? So anything that's technology based,
Yes.
because you look at Snapchat. Snapchat has tanked 40% or whatever it is, because that they are a leading indicator of a recession, because all the advertisers have stopped
advertising
because they're
so you think we're going to go into recession?
I think the US is in one already.
I've currently got buy orders in.
So hang on, go Russell.
I've got buy orders in at the moment. I've got a heap of buy orders in at around 520, and I've also got buy orders in at 750. So no matter which way the market goes,
you wouldn't have buy orders in.
No, that's like when it gets like, so if it gets back to 750, I'm going to catch it before it goes too high. If it drops down below 550, 520ish or whatever, I'm going to grab some then as well. So either way, I've sort of got the same amount of money split both ways to grab whichever way it goes in this next few months.
Yep.
Because I don't want to miss it going back up again. I'm happy to pay 750, but at the same time, if it's still hidden down, I'm not going to just buy now if I can get it at 520 or 500 or whatever.
So we've got to ignore what's happening like right now. I mean, in the news, we reported that that Tesla, there was a memo that Reuters reported that Tesla were going to resume a second shift yesterday, but then it turns out that was going to be today. Now, at the time of when I recorded it, I couldn't get confirmation that it's actually happened, but it was planned to happen. And their plan is to go to effectively back to full production. But there's obviously a gap of I forget, it was 60,000 cars or whatever. It was a large number of cars.
No one's ever going to remember these 2 or 3 weeks in 2 years' time. And people are just going to laugh and they're going to go, oh, well, was it 50,000, 60,000 vehicles? Well, we're producing 3 million a year. So what's 50,000?
And you know, the funny thing is they've in the last 24 months, they've built 2 brand new factories that are each, I think Texas is capable of doing 1 million cars, and Brandenburg, I think, is 500,000.
At the moment.
Not exactly sure at the moment. But when you look at Gary Black's projections, the capital expenditure last year was $6.5 billion. He's projecting $7 billion this year, and he's increasing it $8 billion next year, 12.5, 14, $15 billion in 2026.
That's a lot of factories.
And that's a lot of factories. And yet he's still saying in 2026 he's projecting $68 billion of spare money. Like, even though they've
So basically, another way to put that, Harold, is that call it by 2027, if the share price doesn't move, you're basically valuing Tesla at zero, because your whole market cap is cash in bank. So basically saying, yes, the company's worth 660 billion. There's 660 billion in cash. Sorry, no. Sorry. It's a third of the company. Sorry. Yeah,
Yes.
you're basic. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, well, it's sort of saying that if Tesla's share price went down 66%, it went down to a third of its current value. If you just waited for 4 years, you could just go to the Tesla's bank and just withdraw that money and get the shares for nothing. Like you could just say, well, I just want my value in the company. I want to cash out and get that whole share price as cash, as a dividend. You know, it's just mind blowing. You know, and that's only 2026.
And remember, these calculations as well only consider earnings due to automotive revenue, not anything to do with other revenues.
Dead right.
Tesla, does it include FSD? I think even
no. That's 2028.
It doesn't include any energy. It doesn't include any
Dead right.
robots, any AGI.
That's right. So, and that was getting back to the point that I was making earlier, which
any
is
robo-taxis, no robo-taxis either.
What about the Tom Cruise movie coming out this week?
Maverick.
Yeah,
Yes,
would that be a part of the revenue program? I mean,
no.
How many million do you reckon that's going to turn over on the first day of release?
Well, as a little aside, that's going to be the biggest grossing movie ever to date.
I'd probably agree with that. Yeah.
So, and that's a lay down misère because there's people our age that saw the first version, and we're absolutely going to watch that, you know, at gold class or whatever, and you might even watch it twice just for whatever.
And then you'll buy it when it comes on Apple TV.
I thought the CNBC expose on death on the roads was going to be higher grossing than this one. No.
Fucking hell, Russell's got a graph. I'd like to show you the Tom Cruise. How many people are going to be eating popcorn while Tom Cruise is on? Oh, Russell.
So Russell, you've done your research. What was the subtitle or the theme? What was the stated subtitle of that documentary? It was a documentary showing how autopilot has deliberately killed, or Elon Musk has deliberately allowed autopilot to be used in a manner which kills people.
Yeah,
basically.
that's right, yeah.
You know, which is in itself outrageous.
The frustrating thing about it is that people that are pushing this agenda, they should actually be the ones that get liable for any sort of death, because essentially that the faster this technology can roll out, the fewer people in the world are going to die. So if they're limiting and look, if it doesn't happen straight away, it doesn't happen next year after, 10 years from now, that's irrelevant. It's that if they're trying to put blockers in front of this technology going out because they've got vested interest in essentially, like, you know, selling papers, or another company is lobbying to slow it down, every single day that goes by, there's thousands of people that are dying unnecessarily because this technology is now in the public.
Yeah, but they don't care. But did you see that that Musk was asking for, what was his phrase, hardcore street fighter lawyers to set up a department to aggressively, create legal cases against people? I think Musk is going to start fighting back hard.
But I like the guidelines that he's sort of, the rails that he's put around this, which is something along the lines of, if we won't pursue you might be able to pull up the tweet.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Even if we're going to win, we're not going to pursue it if we're in the wrong. But if we're in the wrong and we can't, if we're not in the wrong, we can't, we're still going to pursue it.
Oh, good. That's not nearly as bad as Richard here, who used to live in a lovely house and now has moved back into a car park. As you can see.
Is that your hairdryer back there, is it, Richard? Is that your hairdryer like the old days you put it on your head?
So the moral of the story is don't buy a Harley Davidson, because that's what's going to happen.
I've moved
You've got to burn your head, Richard.
He's moved straight. He's staying in his car in the car park. That's what's going on.
So what?
And that's because you don't do those fly-in, fly-outs, which we used to love. We used to love how you
So
do
did
the
I.
crawls through the yard.
I don't like working for a living. Rubbish.
Yeah.
So what Musk said is his commitment is we will never seek victory in a just case against us, even if we will probably win. We will never surrender or settle an unjust case against us, even if we will probably lose.
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
I think his whole
Basically,
tone
if you
changed.
read that backwards and encrypt it, it basically says "fuck off." I've run it through the computer about 6 times, and it does. It just says "fuck off." So yeah,
No, but it goes to show that
international language.
I think Musk
What he's
has had
saying.
Often you'll drop. Well, lawyers will tell you, you can pay us a lot of money and you're going to lose. But as Musk is saying, if we've done the right thing, and it's forget the cost, we're just going to argue
what
the
it will
fact
do,
that we've done that.
It will expose the other side of the story formally in a court that everyone can see, and even if they lose, all that other shit that they brought up, everyone will know about. And the reputational damage for the litigation team, the other side, will be for everyone to see, right? That's what he's trying to get at.
It'd send you broken letters. I mean, how many fucking lawyers do you reckon he's got in house? 30 odd lawyers.
But also, what it's doing,
in-house.
though.
I mean, let alone outsourced.
So
but
go,
also
Richard.
what it's doing is it's just going to say to everyone, okay, game's on now. If you're going to start this, we're going to come after you. And I think that might be, you might put people off. I think there'll be some burns going to happen.
I remember, sorry, Richard, I remember trawling through some news articles, and I didn't put it in the news a couple of weeks ago, but you know how, remember there was those examples in China where there were people protesting. There's a woman that
something with the brakes or something.
Yeah, and it was an accidental application of accelerator into the brake.
She got up on the
roof of a car in one of the exhibitions or something, and had a protest.
That's quite a Chinese thing.
Yeah, and then there was someone else.
I think people do that with like Lamborghinis and
Ferraris
and stuff in China.
Yeah, so there was someone else more recently that actually had some false claims, and he's actually done a complete public apology on Weibo, I think it was, saying that it was wrong. He was lying, and Tesla basically made him admit that he was lying the whole time. And of course, at that time, all the Tesla knockers, the EV knockers, were saying, "Oh, here's Tesla, crashing their cars and all that sort of stuff." So it's appropriate that they fight back where it's clearly wrong.
It's interesting. I think I read a stat. I'm not sure if I'm remembering it correctly this week, where so there was 3 people that died in a Model S, in a refreshed Model S, and
Yes.
the NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Authority Administration, whatever it is, are investigating it. But then they said in the article that they didn't know whether autopilot was on or not, but NHTSA is investigating it anyway. And then they said the NHTSA has investigated 80% of Tesla's crashes. It's like, what other manufacturer? Wow. I mean,
that's ridiculous.
I noticed on the news this week where the guy was riding his electric scooter, hit a Tesla, and subsequently the gentleman died, which is very sad, after reporting himself to hospital 3 days after the crash. But they made a point of saying Tesla gets involved in an accident. Mentioned, I thought that was really interesting. They didn't mention about the other cars that, I didn't hear a Commodore hit and ran over a kid, or I didn't hear a Volvo that was doing this, or they said Tesla involved in death in Perth. The guy was riding an electric scooter, he ran into the Tesla. Wasn't the Tesla's fault. Tesla stopped, pulled over, the driver offered to help. Guy said he was fine, brushed himself off, went away. 2 days later, reported to hospital and died in hospital.
I think it was actually a week later. Yeah.
It was 2 days. It was 2 days.
Was it?
later.
Yeah, right.
Went into hospital, reported himself in hospital, and then died.
Sounds to me like Musk has just had enough, and he's just gonna
I just,
like
I
that's
just thought it
it
was,
now.
it was funny how they just had to say Tesla. I like, why did you have to say the Tesla?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting. I mean, this one's a classic example. This has made the online newspapers. And apologies, I didn't have time to correct the orientation of the video, but just bear with it for a moment. So this is a Model Y. I think it was in Canada.
Oh yeah.
Where
I saw some pictures of that. Yeah.
where the driver alleged that he couldn't get out of the car and he had to kick open the window.
He obviously didn't know about the lever you can pull.
Well, the manual release, and all cars have manual releases, and also the other thing is, notice how the lights, the hazards are on, so the electronics are still working, and this is at the 0 time. We'll just scroll forward, and at the time, I mean, this is 3 minutes later. Oops, sorry, and we'll just go a bit further. 4 minutes. Unfortunately, this time they've changed the orientation. It's a bit hard to see. But like at 8 minutes, it's basically almost out.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a battery fire to me. It looks like a fabric fire or something.
Yeah.
So it's literally just a
electrical fire.
What's Chapman doing with that thing? Is he got
The guy could have been smoking and dropped his cigarette lighter or something and set fire to the interior.
Or he had some sort of dodgy 12-volt connector in his glove box.
Yeah, he was smoking a doobie
or something like that, you know.
Or he could have had an e-cigarette with lithium battery shorts, and that's happened before.
He was hanging out with Gabriel.
Caught fire.
That's what he was doing. He was doing the old.
So Harold, what's
sorry, go on.
Go, Pete.
Well, the most likely part to set on fire would have to be the battery, correct?
Which one?
No.
You mean? Sorry,
Actually,
you mean
the Model Y? So that would have been an Austin build one. So they have a lithium-ion 12 volts as well, don't they?
Yeah, but notice how there's no fire. There's no fire coming out of the front. It's all the interior.
It's all coming from the front row seats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't in that same clip, Harold, further on, the other car that caught fire on its roof looked like someone poured petrol on its roof or something?
I haven't got that one, Russell. I did see that. Yeah.
That looked fake to me.
Yeah, same.
It just didn't look. Something about the way that windows popped as well just didn't look right. Like
yeah, well, there's always
that one was on. If you go to Tesla Daily, I think it's on 2 days ago.
But on that though, like with the door handles, I still don't think that the design. I think they should have kept with like the what they've got in the S and the front doors of the X, where it's literally just one handle that activates both the manual release and lowers the window, so it breaks the seal, so you don't damage your window seal. Because if someone's inside a car in a panic, they're not going to be like, "Oh yeah, there's a manual release." They're just going to go for like the handle, and if they're used to pressing a button and it doesn't work, that they could die in there. So I don't know. I still think it's.
I agree, Richard.
I think it's two buttons when you could have had one that did the same thing.
Yeah.
Just back to the lawyers and stuff like that. Now that Musk said he's voting Republican, when he goes to the Supreme Court, the majority of the Supreme Court justices are actually Republicans or elected by Republicans, so he might have a better chance at winning at the Supreme Court level. Now he's voting Republicans.
As long as they've seen his tweet.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll let them know about it at some point. He's got those lawyers pretty good at that.
It's interesting that he's gone down the political route.
A complete change.
Did you see the interview with that senator who's anti full self-driving and autopilot and said it should be banned and da-da-da? And they even had a picture of a guy in full self-driving, and it's that one when he just ran into the bollard, and that's about all he could get because there's so little footage of them actually having accidents with full self-driving. Just
that was an
that was a Model X.
One. That was the employee that did that and got fired.
It was, yeah. And the guy, the senator, that he's spent I don't know how many millions of dollars on ads, saying lobbying. He's a one-issue senator. He's only running for one issue, and that's to ban Tesla Autopilot and FSD on the road. And guess what his company does? They make self-driving software.
He's not even a proper
Really?
senator. He's trying to be a senator. All he's doing is lodge himself. He's not elected or anything like that. He's just doing it for the notoriety. And also too, you can advertise differently if you're going for government. So he's got different loopholes and whatnot he can work through.
Does that mean you can bullshit more than if you're actually in power? Like
no, he's not in power, but he's like
to be a professional lawyer.
He's like registered to be a senator. It's like to be a part of the voting. Yeah, so he has more rights than other people in terms of what he can and can't say.
So he's basically decided to run for senator in order to try and slow down his competition.
Yeah.
And
or
increase
stop his competition.
Yeah, and the money that's coming from him as well is some of the money is actually coming from a lobby group that's being funded by oil and gas and legacy auto as well.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. It's the same with the protests that are happening in Berlin at the moment by this company, essentially that's like this green company, but they're actually funded by Volkswagen, and there's a mine like down the road that emits like uses 12 times as much water every day as what Tesla does, and they haven't said one thing about it.
It's the same as, wasn't it? There's a submission being made in Texas to stop the Gigafactory in Austin for some a similar environmental reason, I think.
I'm not sure about that one.
Weird lobbyists that just
but they do. They pop up and they give themselves names like Green Team or whatever, like, and they invent themselves at that point in time. But the underlying people that are on it have all different, like, smaller, like, sub companies that are all across the globe. But they essentially act on behalf of whoever wants to pay them, and they're just professional protesters essentially.
And the funny thing with the environmentalists in Germany is they're protesting against what they think of as excessive water usage.
Water use, yeah.
But what about the total sum of all the economics of the externalities and the positive effects that pumping out more EVs has compared to ICE cars, which can offset all of the water.
Yeah, but it's not.
baby.
It's not a rational. It's not a rational protest. It's it's someone's job to protest, so they get paid by a company to go out and cause trouble. Yeah, that's what it's about. They don't believe in the issue themselves. It's just like doing a job. You don't go to job. They might not go to work and enjoy it, but it's a job. That's what they do. Like people in call centers, and they just go there and they do their job. They don't want to be hassling everybody, but that's what they got to do.
And yet the problem is that the authorities have to treat them with the same respect or equivalence or equality as a earnest, honest person that might have legitimate objections.
Yeah.
And the media, in order to be seen as providing a view from each side, a balanced reporting, they give them airtime.
Yeah, but balanced reporting isn't real. Even looking at Australia just recently, if you look at the number of articles that are written before the election about different parties, the media over East was essentially, they did a breakdown of positive stories versus negative stories for ScoMo and for Albanese. And there was, I can't remember the exact numbers, but in the order of, say, 12 negative for Albanese and 1 positive versus like pretty much the opposite of like 12 positive versus 1 negative for ScoMo. That's not really balanced reporting if you're going to have a clear like agenda in terms of your. So I don't think it's like, I don't think media is out to be balanced. I think they're out to whoever's going to pay the money to get them to
people
talk.
will
That's
do
what they're going to say,
anything for money.
Anything. Russell, yeah.
But Russell, this is an image of a round Earth, right? Allegedly, it's round, like it's a sphere, right? And you may think that's an opinion. Clearly, that's one of the facts. But an alternate fact is this image. I mean, it's obviously flat. Can't you see that it's flat?
Talking about
Now, clearly, when we're
Jesus.
discussing the topology of the Earth,
Jesus, raise your hands.
you need to present the alternate fact that it's
Good Lord.
freaking flat. Look at this. You can spin it all the way you like. You can
Good
go
Lord.
as far as you like, and it's flat.
I believe. I believe. I
So-
believe.
No, you
It's
don't.
flat.
No. But see, Jared, you can't believe.
But
I just showed you.
Jesus,
I proved
I
to
believe.
you.
Jesus.
No.
Jesus saved our souls.
Jared,
Tesla.
it's flat. The map says it. Look, it's flat.
It is. It's. I believe.
It's as flat as far as the
That's
Earth
how the
as you can
planes. The
scroll.
planes fly.
Harold is just showing you balanced reporting. He's
That's
showing
balanced reporting because
Any second now, Russell will bring up a
I've
graph.
got one here.
because this is one of the versions of the Earth.
And he's got a pie chart, and he's
As a
going to show
ball.
that.
Yeah, I do. Hang on, let me just bring it up.
Yeah, I fucking told you he's got a pie. He's got a pie chart and everything.
You asked for it.
Oh, he's come home from a hard day's work, and the wife said, "How are you, darling?" "Yeah, I've got a pie chart. Can I show you my pie chart?"
There you go. That was the balance reporting before the election in Australia.
Oh, look at that.
Luckily, the electorate in Australia doesn't seem to be as thick as the British one, and people eventually just see through the BS.
Yeah.
Anyway, just putting it out there. I mean, I'm not taking any sides here. I'm just like saying that's.
You're on the
Did you
side
vote
of
for
the
the
truth.
The point is that's a fact.
vote
It's,
for the Greens,
it's
Russell?
literally a fact.
Pardon me?
You voted for the Greens.
Yeah, I voted for the Greens. Yeah.
I could tell. Because they offer more money on props. Is that what it is? It's more prop money. That's what it is.
No, I mean, the reason why I voted for Greens is because I want my daughter to be able to live when she's like old enough to live, not have some sort of humongous like issue that we're causing now that's going to be someone else's problem. Like, it might cost more money to fix it now, but it's going to cost a hell of a lot more money later to fix it. And I don't think many people really consider that when they make their choices.
So,
Weird, isn't it? I
Harold,
look at other
change
people
the
that are
subject.
like,
Put something on chat.
Do you not think that the government,
Oh.
Labor's going to do a better job?
Let me just.
Do you not think
so
they'll
let me-
actually improve things a bit better?
I think they'll say a few more things.
Oh yes,
Well,
Richard, I've
what's-
seen this.
what's
This
the
is
name owns
awesome.
a Tesla.
Yeah.
There's a couple of people that drive Tesla that are Labor.
Yeah, you're right.
No one drives a Tesla like this one.
I could
yes.
go on all day about it, Jared, but it's probably not something about we want to talk about during this
Yeah, no, it's
conversation.
politics. Let's get on to the decent Tesla stuff. Come on.
Yeah. Hopefully, there's
Tesla
no.
related.
Now, this is a video
Got some valid points. I
by
agree with what you're saying, but
the real life guys. So this is something I actually have seen, and it's pretty awesome. So we can treat this as like a little interlude.
Yeah, just to change the subject. John
it
Edwards
goes-
sent this link.
oh, we
goes
go
a
back
little
to
bit like
Jesus.
this.
Back to Jesus.
No.
Wir leihen uns manchmal den Tesla von unserem besten Freund Erik aus. Das ist schon ein ganz nices Auto, aber so ist er für uns echt nicht zu gebrauchen. Deswegen bauen wir den Tesla jetzt heimlich so ein ganz kleines bisschen um.
Als erstes wechseln wir auf jeden Fall die Reifen.
Wir machen jetzt 2 von diesen übertrieben gigantischen Ketten an den Tesla. Da wiegt eine einfach 1,3 Tonnen. Wir bauen jetzt ein riesiges Stahlgerüst, was hier in die Mitte kommt.
Now we'll just cut to some other awesome bits.
Krass, wie das funktioniert. Wir bauen jetzt schnell die zweite. Nach 4 Wochen Arbeit ist der Tesla jetzt endlich fertig. Ich finde, der sieht wirklich so krass genial aus.
Oh, it's fucking great.
Ich finde es einfach so krass, dass Auto Hero das wirklich mitgemacht hat. Ich zeige euch jetzt mal, was wir noch alles verändert haben. Hier vorne haben wir jetzt eine richtig fette Winde rangebaut, die kann 6 Tonnen ziehen. Ich feiere die Ketten einfach so hart. Der liegt jetzt insgesamt mit den 6.
Is this some bad German porno, Harold?
Are they going to ship that to Ukraine?
German Schneisenhausen.
Jared, I never want to hear from Jared. I never want to hear you say I over modified my car again. Okay.
No, definitely not. No, these people have been watching you, Richard. This is what's going on.
They're on steroids, brother. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's out of control.
I can see a use for that.
Russell's got a pie chart for this one. Here we go.
Do they actually drive it or not? Do they get in and drive it?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't think they've. I
Not that a green screen.
There's really nothing else at the end of the video. They just drive it out of the. Oh, here we go.
Welding establishment.
So how do they see it?
Erik, was sagst du? Das darf gar nichts sagen. Geh mal hin, guck den an.
Harold, can you just
That's why
rewind
they've
it
got no
back?
television in
There was a warning message on the dash
Yeah,
on the screen on that one when he came out, the inside camera. What was the warning for?
Oh, Russell, you've got amazing eyes, brother.
No
there?
Schnitzen mit der Wienersnitz or Klassenhausen.
Yeah, keep going forward a bit. There was like a pop up down the bottom. Just go forward a bit more.
No. Oh.
Maybe it's back. There you go. There it is. What's that say?
It says you forgot to put it into track mode.
Yeah, correct.
No. It's supposed to be tank track mode.
Tank track mode.
Very good.
Very good.
Let me just. Oops. I'll just.
Haven't they got television in Germany? What's going on?
Anyway, we're about to read it. Unless you can speak German, you can be read it anyway.
I can speak German, but it's just.
Yeah, Schneiser with a Wienersnitzel, the Fusserklassen, Schneiser with a crab.
Tire pressure, maybe.
That would be far better if it had a yoke steering wheel.
Oh, it is. Look.
Oh no, they wouldn't do that for insurance reasons.
You know what it would be.
That's the tire
Yeah,
pressure,
you're right. You wouldn't be able to get the pressure sensor, the tire pressure sensors.
Yes, that's it right there. Tire pressure right there. Now, Richard, you were asking how do you steer?
Well, you can't have variable torque.
One track at a time.
Yeah, you can't.
You'd have to think of a mechanism whereby if you turn the steering wheel, it then has a mechanical way of braking. It's probably a rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, it was SR. It was SR.
Maybe that's what.
So it's rear-wheel drive. So if you could somehow clamp, put an artificial brake on one side on the diff.
Yeah, that's
that would
right.
work.
Let's not go too far because we still believe in Santa Claus around this group.
That's what we've only seen go forward.
We don't talk too much in Disney. When it comes to Disney, we go. He could go straight. That's all he did. That's what he did.
Yeah, he obviously just went straight. But look, there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't modify it to turn.
Pedals.
You could do anything, the electronic.
Look, you could just do it on steering angle with a CAN bus interface because if you use Scan My Tesla, you can actually read the steering angle. That's one of the CAN buses.
Russell's already done a pie chart on it.
Hang on, Jared. Hang on. So you can read the steering angle instantaneously, and then you could just use that on a brake caliper on each side, and just brake the
one side.
The track that you want to turn into. That's easy.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
It's the hard part.
It's crazy, but it's awesome. It's a little bit like Simone Gertz's Truckler, where you turn a Model 3 into a U.
What do you reckon the quarter mile speed would be on it now?
They're still trying it.
Oh my gosh!
Maybe a minute.
The new VW Golf they brought out a few years ago, 0 to 60. Yes. That was their advertising.
Actually, Richard, that kid in Germany could be your illegitimate son. because there's a lot of,
One of them.
a lot of resemblance to the way that he's taken a normal car and completely changed it.
Oh, I just thought you meant his language.
No, no,
I think he's just blown his little mind. He's
he
just
does. Look at the teeth. Look at the teeth on him. Richard Cooper's teeth. Look at those teeth. They're a great set of choppers, those fellas.
There you go. Yeah, it's a good little video.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. That was good. I actually saw that a little while ago, and it was
So I'm going to do that to his car, but he's not well enough for me to do it yet.
Whole different level. Whole different level.
Oh dear. All right, at this later, we're getting to the 11-minute mark. 11-minute countdown.
I've got an update on the damage that I had to the front of the car. Remember a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Oh. If you're interested to hear what's happened, I can fill you in if you like.
Yes, sorry, go on.
So I got it assessed at McCarthy's, not last Thursday, but Thursday before. It was like it was like a week, and I started anything from them. So I gave RAC a call, and they said, yeah, they should have it by now. Let's follow up. Anyway, a couple of days later, I got a message through saying that it's been assessed, and if I pay the excess, I can get it fixed. But they didn't give any detail about what actually they were going to do as part of the repair process in it. So there's no transparency to say, hey, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. So they said, if you want any more information, you need to call McCarthy's direct and ask them what they're going to undertake as the works. So I gave them a call and asked them, and I guess what they proposed as a solution, I wasn't comfortable with. Yep. So I told them that I was unlikely to proceed with the repairs if that was going to be what happened. They then said, leave it with us. They contacted RAC and I guess negotiated with them or discussed it on my behalf, and then got them to approve what I felt was acceptable for the repairs. And then they approved that. So that was pretty good. I then went and got a quote again from the place I got my original paint protection from. And I included that quote as well. And once that gets approved, I'll then, I guess, pay the excess and get it fixed. But they're saying that the time it's going to take to get parts is considerable at the moment. But I'd much rather have it sort of like fixed properly than just like a touch-up sort of situation. Yeah.
Good work.
So you've got PPF on the front of that car?
No, I don't have any PPF. I just had ceramic protection for.
What was the excess, Russell?
Pardon me?
What's the excess?
My excess was 500, I think.
And they give you how much the works were going to cost?
Well, I can only assume a new bumper and a new front fog light would be 2,000 plus, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the exact numbers or anything, but I can't see a bumper and a fog light coming in much under that from Tesla.
Yeah.
What colour is your car?
White.
Do you know if McCarthy's want that front bumper?
Well, that's what I'm going to find out what happens to it. I'm not sure if I'm entitled to it or whether RAC own it. Because if I'm entitled to it, I'm going to take them both back. What I'm also going to do is I'm a little bit nervous, or not skeptical, but nervous about the transparency in the whole transaction, that I'm secretly going to mark the bumper in a way that only I know where it is to make sure that I do get a new bumper, that I don't just repair the one that's there.
Yeah, good idea.
Photograph that. Document.
So I'm going to put I'll put a mark in it somewhere where they don't know, and I'll just check it again when I get it back.
What you can do, Russell, is pick a spot that's not accessible, like not visible, and actually cut a little notch or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
And Mark, take a picture of it with metadata on your picture. So.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm going to get a knife, a Stanley knife, and just cut a scallop out of the inside of it somewhere.
Yeah.
And
perhaps they do that in two places, just in case.
And if the RAC give you a hard time, just drop Carmen's name. They hate her. So you'll have no problems about it. Just say you're Carmen's nephew, bang, they'll fix it straight away.
But the fact that they've told me that that's what I want, and they said, yeah, that's fine. And I've got to wait longer for more parts. I can't see it really being a situation where that's likely to be a problem, where they're not going to give me a new one. It's more like...
And without besmirching anyone, yeah, you're right, Russell. The risk of that actually occurring, like for them to wait the multiple weeks and then do a switcheroo at the last moment, there's no reason to believe that would occur.
Yeah, but you never trust those panel beaters.
No, I mean,
scumbags.
So far for me, the experience has been great. Like, although there's a bit of delay at the start, like the way that their place is awesome. They got this little like fridge in there with chocolate and soda water and all sorts. Like it's awesome. There's a charger there. I rocked up, charged my car while I was waiting. Like it's.
But Russell, that's a Porsche charger, I believe.
It is a Porsche charger. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it used to be
Still
a
works,
Tesla
though.
charger. It used to be a Tesla destination charger. Now it's a Porsche charger.
Yeah, it still works.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they were fantastic. Like I had everything they've done with me so far has been brilliant.
So your car's completely dry. So it's literally a matter of you got to wait for the cosmetic. Well, not cosmetic, but effectively cosmetic fix. But your car is perfectly functional and drivable in the meantime. So it's not impinging.
Now that they've told me this, I'm just going to get my touch-up paint and fix it in the meantime, so it looks all right.
Yeah.
And then when they do it, they'll just swap it out anyway. So, I mean, I don't mind how long I wait because it's just more of like an eyesore looking at it. It's not really that noticeable. It's just that it's a brand new car. I've got insurance. Like that's what it's there for, right?
Maybe they're worried that Russell's going to go around there with one of his props, and they're all going to get it in.
No, Russell's just going to get his little. He's just going to touch it up.
He's going to get his prop around there.
There we go.
Well, you remember you saw the damage before, right? You remember how bad it was, or not?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's significant that you can see it, but it's not like terrible. Like the car's still, it's not hanging apart or anything. It's still
just drivable.
I've seen worse cars driving around all the time with worse scratches than that they wouldn't even care about. So it's so far so good, I guess, but we'll wait and see how the rest of it goes. I was actually quite happy that because the fog light got scratched as well, and I thought they were going to offer just like polished oil, but they're replacing the fog light, which is fantastic. So that fog light and that bumper, I could almost guarantee if they get to keep it, it's going on the next car that comes in that's got a problem, because you'd never be able to pick that. It's so minor, the damage. You'd never pick that it wasn't brand new, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
So I don't know who gets to keep it, whether RAC own it or whether
RAC
would own it or whether I own it.
I would guarantee you that RAC would own that part.
Yeah, but what would they do with it? Like, it's
they
not like they've got a big
might do a
warehouse
deal.
full of-
They might do a deal with the Smash Repair and go, hey, the Smash Repair might offer you them some money, and they'll do a deal with them.
Yeah, but then the point is, maybe Russell might have first refusal on offering to buy it off the RAC.
He doesn't get that chance. They don't do it. They deal
So
with it.
so if my car's a write-off, I don't get the choice to actually buy it back off them.
Generally not. No, they can do what they want to do with it. It's their call.
It's generally written into the contract.
Read the PDS. I've read the PDS.
I bought back my Lotus when I wrote that off. I bought it back.
Yeah,
I
because
reckon the
I'd
parts
be
are going
interested
to
in
bin.
actually buying the bumper and the light back off them again if
The
they were allowed
person
to
that
buy
you need
it.
to talk to is the assessor. You talk to the assessor and see what he says.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion. But you'll find most of the time it's RAC have the rights to what's left over the vehicle.
I don't reckon they'll muck around. I think they'll put it straight in the bin.
Nah, it's like
I reckon they'll do a deal.
so
with
like that headlight, you cannot even see the scratches without a microscope. That's how close I was in at it. You'd never, if someone came in and they pranged their car and they're like, I need you to fix it for me, and they go, okay, here's a part here, brand new, they're never going to know. Like, so it's in such good condition.
You're right.
For all I know, I could be getting that secondhand part from somebody else already. Like I'm not saying they're doing that, obviously, but I mean,
let's have a look. Hey, Russell, let's
Well,
just do a
actually,
graph
Russell,
on
but
that.
the
Let's do a
point
graph
is,
on that.
I thought the policy actually says that they have the right to use new and second-hand parts.
Oh, yeah, they do. I don't
RAC
think it
guarantee
says that.
new parts.
Yeah, they did. But what McCarthy's did on my behalf was McCarthy's actually argued with RAC, from what I understand, that the car was so new, like, under a year old still, that it's like a brand new car and it should be a brand new part. It's like for like.
Right.
Right.
If it done like 2 or 3 years of driving or whatever and it had a few scratches and stuff already, then fair enough. But I mean, this car gets detailed every week. Like every Saturday morning, it gets fully detailed. So it's not like I'm not looking after it. It's
Who's detailing it?
the guy down the road. He's buying a new house next week.
Is that because of all the details that you've paid him for?
Pretty much, yeah.
Cool. I've got to confess that my car, the last time my car was detailed was.
I didn't think
never.
you'd have any money left,
Um,
Russell, after your weekend at Miller.
Oh yeah, that was expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm getting the I bought
Hey,
a
have you looked at a
induction.
Millet? Have you ever worked at a Millet drop 100,000? I have. It's a real good experience.
Yeah,
I've
it's
never been
expensive.
shopping like that. Let's do that again.
Did you buy the induction cooktop, Russell? Milo
He
one.
He did.
Yeah.
The one that you slide
drag
the
the
pot.
Yeah. Anyway,
The
you want, yeah.
7,000 or something series.
Yeah, that's the one.
Right.
So I bought that, and
yes.
also the range hood that I wanted wasn't in stock, and they won't have stock till September or October or something.
Yeah,
So
correct.
that's on like hold for me when they arrive.
Correct.
But then also, I currently have a Miele washer and dryer as well, and the dryer is the older one that with the heat elements at the back. So I'm swapping that out for a heat pump one now. So I've got a heat pump dryer as well.
Energy efficient.
This is an aside, and it's no. I'm not going to. Well, I've had Miele for a while, and I've got to say that their washing machines and dryers are disappointing. So sorry, we did a little non-Tesla.
Must be all the hair that's in there, Harold. You can't keep up with it.
Why do you say that, Harold?
So,
why do you
so
say
I've,
that,
I've I've got a 10-year-old
maybe
Miele washing machine and dryer, and they work awesomely, except they're getting a bit worn out. And I've bought the newest version, and
dishwasher.
The dryer, because Miele, all the European products are hell bent on saving energy at all costs.
Goodness.
So, and the dryer I had, the 10-year-old one, is a heat pump one.
Did it have a
which actually
condenser?
it's a condensing
Yeah.
heat pump dryer, right? Which is awesome because
Yep.
you can plumb it into a drain if you want, but you can also store the water, and you basically get distilled water out of it.
Yeah, I've
by
got
the
it.
bucket load.
I've got the same.
And it works awesomely, the 10-year-old one, and so does the brand new one. But the brand new one is so militantly intent on saving energy that it doesn't use a lot of heating effort to dry your clothes. So your clothes will sit there for like 2 hours drying.
Oh.
So what I've got to do is I always override it, and you've got to turn the selector down to the bottom menu, which is the extras or extra menu items, and I go into express drying, which is waste a bit more energy to heat it up a bit hotter to get the moisture out of the clothes quicker.
You know, you can just change the defaults on it with the computer, and they change the settings.
No,
He's
because
got the dials, not the touch.
No. When the service guy comes out, he puts his magnet on the front, and he can override the settings to whatever you want.
Yeah, you can do that.
That's what we did for ours. We changed the temp, the moisture level.
The new one, you can actually set it in the control panel. You don't have to have that guy. But what you do. But the new model, the latest model, which I have, basically just set it on the front of the panel, and then you're done. And you set.
How old's your latest model, Jared?
6 months.
Oh no, mine's 12. Okay,
You've seen my latest.
Yeah, mine's 12 months old, and
and you can set every element and how you want it to be extra dry, this, that, the other.
Well, the washing machine used to have the old one I've got had an Express 20 setting. Now it's got an Express 30, so it takes half an hour rather than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just, from my point of view, it seems like Miele or the European manufacturers are militantly going on energy conservation as opposed to.
I agree with that.
So you wear your clothes. So you're wearing your clothes out.
I reckon their service is second to none. I reckon their service. The quality and service is brilliant. They don't do like other suppliers where they have GHB deliver it straight out of the box and it comes brand new. It hasn't come out of the back of some warehouse, Harvey somebody or other's warehouse. It's been rewrapped and been on demo on the floor stock for 3 years, and then they've rewrapped it, come to your place, and then so it's come straight out of a warehouse. And if there's any problem with Miele, they fix it straight away. Like for example, we have the ironing board, the fashion-made ironing board. $4,500 iron and ironing board. Yes, very expensive, but warranty. We've had it for 4 years, had a problem with it. Yes, they can't get parts for 3 months. Waive it, all the call-out costs, waive the part costs, waive it everything. Got to wait 4 months, but they're going to come and replace it all for free. Now, what good's that? That's great. You got to wait. For
Well,
that.
I had that experience, but I had to make a big fuss about the ironing board because the heating element was spitting out rust.
Yeah, well,
and they never worked it out.
Similar.
They couldn't work it out. But with the condensing dryer, did you know that you have to move a little box underneath at the bottom of the dryer and clean it regularly?
Yes, there's two filters. So
Can
there's
I
the
talk
main
about that?
filter
you
where the door is, but there's also like a little access panel.
Yeah.
And you push that, and then you've got like this, it's like a spongy thing with a handle.
Yeah.
There's two.
Well, I
two
didn't know
filters.
about that one. I put it in the condenser, but I couldn't open that panel. And it created a problem.
So
when the reason guy came out to our house to repair a problem when Renee put the wooden spoon on top of the induction plate and the error popped up saying F and just flashed F, and I went, oh, that means it's fucked because F.
No.
The guy came out that same day and he walked up and he just took off the wooden spoon off the induction plate. He goes, there you go, fixed. And while he was there, because he wasn't going to charge us because we spent so much money. But while he was there, he showed me all the other things to clean and maintain. That was one of them.
Okay.
So Jared, was that the same fault as when you looked at the back of your Model 3 and went, oh no, the reversing globe's blown?
Yeah, ripped off. I thought, you fuckers.
I've only got one globe.
One reversing globe. And that's before I knew about Ask Us Anything. I rang them up and asked them, and I felt like a complete, absolute idiot because Harry turned around and said to me, oh, you're the fourth person today that's rang me up to say the same thing.
And you know the problem with that is
and we've made up with that. I've been, ever since, I've seen Harry, and I call him Lloyd now from Dumber and Dumber, and we're all good, so it's fine.
So Russell, what else did you buy in Melee World?
So just back to the dryer quickly before the rest of the stuff.
Yes.
So currently the one I have has this device at the back which has wire springs that essentially run through the heat up, and the air passes through and pushes the hot air back into the dryer. That was like, I think we got it back in 2015 or something. The problem we have is between when we bought it and now, we've actually got two cats, right? And the hair's on everything, and the hair's so fine, it gets through all the filters and ends up in the back and overheats the dryer, and it just shuts down because it thinks it's too hot. So the reason why we're getting a new one is not because that one's broken as such, it's just that the way the heat pump filters the air, it doesn't go through that same system. It's a closed loop, so you don't have the issue with overheating. That's why we got it.
And less chance of having a fire.
Yeah. So, but I do understand your point. If we could choose like non-economy mode, because we've got so much solar power anyway, who cares how much you use, right? Like,
and that's my beef is I realise the Europeans are hell bent on minimising energy consumption at all cost, but they don't anticipate that, say in Australia with a sunny environment with lots of solar, that you don't put it this way. I think, well, for me, the greater cost is the wear on my clothes. So if your clothes are tumbling in a tumble dryer for 2 hours as opposed to 30 minutes, they're getting 4 times the wear.
Especially G-strings, right? You end up with a bit of a hole in the front.
Well, I started out with a full Y front, and now it's a G-string. So.
Well, the important question is, do these goods come with acceleration boost?
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's annoying that I've got to keep selecting, extra mode, and whatever you call it,
So
boost,
so we got the dryer, we got the
washing machine,
induction fan thing, the one that the whole surface.
We
wanted
have
to
you
buy a
got
range
the
of-
dishwasher?
We already have a Miele dishwasher already. It's the XL one with a
Not
top.
the same one that Harold's got.
With the auto dose?
No, he's got the auto dose.
No, mine's got no. My dishwasher is the one previous to that one.
Not
The
the
washing
Wi-Fi,
machine-
not the Wi-Fi dishwasher that you can turn on from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, well, you got to have it closed though. It doesn't close itself.
You can have it closed. Yeah, that's true. But
The wash machine that we have at the moment, the new dryer will still stack on top of it.
Yes.
It's still compatible with the same stacking thing.
Yeah.
There was not. I mean, other than we're actually looking at getting another oven as well, but we weren't really prepared for the cost of those ones, so we just sort of left it.
Yeah,
It was
so-
pretty-
Worth it.
Do you know, we got the one that, oh man, the one that takes photos of your food, like,
Yeah, okay.
That's the 7000 series as well.
and it's a bit flaky, like it doesn't always take a photo. It'll say, oh, this photo took too long to download or something, and there's check your internet or something. And with Starlink, it never worked. So when I went back to NBN, thankfully it started working. But that's a huge cost. And ordered the combination microwave, you know, the microwave and what's the name?
Yeah, the convection oven one too. Yeah, we got that one.
Ordered that last year, and it looks like I'll be getting my Model X before I get that combination oven, because I still haven't got it, and it's already May, and that was ordered last year.
We got ours a few years ago. It must be an older model than what you got then.
Oh yeah, well I bought a previous, in my other house I bought the previous version with the knobs that you press in. They
Yeah, that's what we
recess.
got. Yep.
Yeah, and that's pretty good. It doesn't, there's no turntable, it's just a fixed.
That's just a straight, yeah.
Yeah, and that works. That's really awesome.
Did you get the range hood, Russell?
No, because my current setup, I've got to have the range hood that has the exposed front because it's all the way out to the front of the cupboards.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
The one that they had there that suits that, they've run out of stock and they're not making them again.
And that's the
There's a new
Bluetooth
model
one
coming
that
out.
connects with the induction plate?
Yeah, it's going to connect with it, like the Bluetooth thing or whatever, but it won't be available to purchase till every year.
It turns on automatically, and then when the heat gets hotter, it turns itself
Yeah.
up.
That's correct, yeah.
So Russell, since we're having a melee orgasm, have you ordered the plate warmer?
Oh, yeah, you got to get the plate warmer.
Well,
Oh, Russell.
I know.
No.
Give me
The
the warming drawer.
The warming drawer, the plate.
Yeah,
the plate.
Yeah, I know the one. I know the one. And I know it's compatible with our house too, but we already spent so much money. We were like, it was over like, I think I spent like 12 grand there or something. It was
Yeah, but
ridiculous.
Russell, but you haven't lived.
Oh, grand. That's a morning at the casino.
If you have the plate warmer, the internet connected conventional oven, and then the internet connected microwave combination oven, you got the three things, right? The three stack. The actual warming drawer can go to 75 degrees, so you can slow cook stuff in it, mate.
Yep.
Like, so it's everything you've ever dreamed of. Trust me.
And when you're running late, all your meals are in there.
Okay, so the question is, do you guys, technical gurus, cook the meals in all these appliances?
I can answer that question, Carmen. I have watched my wife cook many a meal. And I tell you, it's very painful.
The thing that frustrates me about all the melee stuff is that there's no child lock on it to stop the buttons being overridden during the cycle. So my daughter gets in there to the dishwasher and she goes up and she hits the power button and turns it off mid-cycle, and there's nothing I can do
That's
about it.
easy. Just smack her hand. She won't do it
it's
again.
easy, Russell. Just put the dishwasher where I put the dishwasher at my house.
Yes, that's a
what you
big
gotta
pro
put.
tip.
That was two things I got to say in my kitchen, or Renee's kitchen. Two things. Where the dishwasher went, number one, same height as the top drawer, basically 900 high off the ground. So when you unload it, you don't bend over, you come out of the dishwasher straight into the drawer.
That is a huge pro tip. That is a massive, that is a hack. That is a kitchen hack right there.
Yeah. Every time.
Well, anyways, there is a safety lock on the dishwashers. I'm not sure if you guys even know, but if you go up under the handle, you can slide the bar across, and you actually lock off on it, and you can't actually open it. So
Really?
it will stop it from open. Yeah. I didn't know about this till recently when I had the baby. But yeah, you go up under the handle and slide across, and it will lock it off. But it's a mechanical thing. But the actual buttons themselves to change the off and on and start or whatever, there's no actual like combination of buttons to lock the buttons out at all, which is stupid because it's all just digital anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point, Russell. That's a very good point.
Well, I suggest I've had 3 children and 8 grandchildren, and no child touches any buttons in my kitchen.
I think
They only do it once.
Actually,
best
Carmen,
way is
when I was a kid,
when you
and
talk about
when I was
turning
younger,
stuff
and I
on.
was at your place,
Russell,
I touched
there
the
you go.
button on the dishwasher, and then you smacked me with the ruler,
You like
and
that?
then it just cut my finger off.
That's it.
Hey, that's the only buttons that you should ever be touching. Those buttons.
Yeah, but well, they've got to be able to turn off the buttons on the appliance.
Turn it on, turn it off, anywhere, no dramas.
It's the same with the washing machine. She goes in and presses the off button mid-cycle on the washing machine, just stops, and you got to start again from scratch.
Oh, parenting these days is not the same as it used to be.
No.
They need to learn, Russell. You have to teach them.
Don't
Well,
touch.
the sooner she can use it, the better for me. If she's learning the buttons now, at least she can load it, then we're done.
I've saved you 2 containers, Harold, by the way, of the thing.
Oh, I was, thanks,
but-
Jared. I was just going to ask you that because
Yeah, I've
I've
saved you
worked out how you can
I know.
this auto dose. You
I
can
know.
basically put a funnel and you can refill it with Coles $2 thing powder, dishwashing powder, and it works just as well. To be brutally honest, but yeah, that's awesome, Jared. I'll pop round because it's a pain to have to fill it when it's empty. When you find out on the next dishwash, if you know what I
Oh
mean.
my goodness. Tesla is 664.
So I've got a question, Harold.
No,
I'll
it's
see you later.
666.
So I've got a
666. Yep, it's just gone up.
Go, Russell.
I put my order in and I was
sorry.
10 minutes late. So it won't go in till tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Never mind. It is what it is. Yeah, sorry. Go.
Okay, so
Russell.
so if people buy Type 2 cables from the club at a
Yes.
discounted rate,
Yes.
what is the policy on resale?
Oh no, it's for personal use, so it's not to.
Yeah, so if there is happen
because
to be some
I
for
can tell you
resale at the
now.
moment.
I can tell you now that the current batch are being sold below cost.
Yeah,
They actually cost more to buy than they are charged out for.
Yeah, so if you go onto Perth Tesla on Facebook and you find one for sale above what you charge for them that's purchased from you, what would you say to that person?
Could be a crap cable. You give them the little finger.
I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, well, don't look at Perth Tesla then, because you might find some of your cables up for sale on there.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, there might be the same brand of cable.
No, it's ones that have been bought from you.
Really?
Yeah, for reals.
Well, the thing is, I've not sold multiple cables to any one person. So
No, they've only bought one, but they're selling their one they bought from you for more.
Oh
than
yeah,
what
but if that's because they no longer have a car or whatever, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
You know,
All right,
no,
okay.
so I'll rephrase that. If they bought a cable because they thought they wanted it and they've worked out they don't need it, or they
Let's
no
say-
longer need
let's
it because
talk
their
about the-
car is no longer there,
Yeah.
that's fine. But if they were trying to
Right.
effectively make a quick buck,
Yeah, it's different.
that's different. But yeah, if it's just a legitimate,
And-
I bought it and I've worked out I don't need it, or I've had to sell my car because of circumstance, and that's actually happened to a few of our club members where they've actually sent an email saying, oh look, because of changing circumstance, we've had to sell our car, or we need to sell our car. So we therefore don't want to be a member anymore, or there's no point sending us emails because we're not in Teslas anymore. That's totally fine. But there's been no one buying several cables with the intention of making money out of it.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. You're talking about Richard Chapman selling his cable because he's now living in a car park. That's the bottom line here. Things are tough. He's been thrown out of his home.
Hey Richard, does your
motorbike
take a Type 2?
It takes more than a Type 2. It needs a normal extension lead to get from work and back about 350,000 metres.
Well, it's a 40-minute ride.
With a
westbound,
40-minute ride.
so-
He can nearly get to work. But he shuts down as a software update halfway through.
It's actually overhead power. I'm on the 25 kV. Like I just follow the railway line.
Yeah, cool.
Does it take Does it take DC as well, or only AC?
Yeah, no. It's weird, right? It's got a level 1, so it's got a level 1 an AC charger that's 1.4 kilowatt, so it's tiny, and it's got DC charging. Actually, I don't know what the maximum rate DC charging is.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
But yeah,
We can take
yeah, it can take single phase AC up to 1.4 kilowatt, and no level 2, like, so it can't take 3 phase, but it's got DC charging. So
you just see what the DC charging would be then.
well, it's weird, right? Because all the Harley dealers, they've all got 20 kilowatt. Yeah, 20 kilowatt DC chargers on the outside of their outside of the buildings. So all of them, yeah, Harley just put them on all of them. So every Harley dealer, you can get a 20 kilowatt DC fast charge. Or
Whereabouts
DC
on
charge.
the bike is the plug?
I'll show you. It's where the fuel.
On the
Geez,
front.
that's pretty innovative,
That
isn't
would
it?
be.
You'd think they'd find a more inconspicuous spot than that.
No, that's all right, actually. No, it's fine. But yeah, it's it actually makes a lot of sense, really, because like I think I charge it like generally like every 3rd or 4th night. But
charging at
yeah,
work?
I don't really find. But yeah, so like say you're gonna like go for a big long ride or something, you'd need
You have
to
to
make
turn your
sure
background
there's
off.
DC charger.
Can you
Huh?
turn your background
Oh, yeah.
off?
Of course. Hang on.
And can you spotlight, Harold?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on. Let me just turn the other light on.
I told you things were tough with him. He's struggling. Been kicked in the garage. How you feeling, Pete? You haven't said much tonight. You getting better? Pete Petrosky. Pete Petrosky, are you
Hang
getting
on.
better?
Can you even see that?
Oh, yeah.
Pete?
So is there another
Oh,
like?
yes.
flap
So
on
there's that's the cover. There's a little
Is there
plastic.
another flap there that pulls down?
Yeah, that's flap covering the DC pins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, it's a bit. Yeah, it's a bit. So yeah, so those DC pins there, and that's
Yeah.
the flap, and then that's the Type 2 AC. And actually, so here's the oh, there's the cat. Yeah, so that's just the AC charger.
Right.
And that's literally just plugged into the wall socket.
Yeah, okay. So
But yeah.
when Tesla open up charging to other vehicles in Australia, do you reckon you could supercharge that or not?
Good question.
Well,
Yes,
do
you
you know,
can.
I
You
reckon I
could.
probably could. I
Actually,
don't see why not. Yeah.
I can't see you. What does the cat think?
That's actually really funny. Yeah, of course it could. I've never even thought of
Okay.
that. Yeah, well, that's a great question. Yeah. No, that's really funny because actually that's probably yeah, I probably will do that.
There you go.
Saying that though, I honestly, like, it's a great commuter bike, but I don't know that I'd actually want to do long trips on it. Like, I don't find it actually that comfortable for long trips. Like, it's not got fairing and
Are you going to get a tattoo
screen,
now,
I mean.
Richard?
I've got them all on the inside, mate.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have like a new tattoo, born to charge or something?
Yeah, cheesy rider.
Easy 240.
Yeah.
So in other news as well, I have witnessed personally someone selling a 2021, I think it was March or April, long range for $95,000. How good's that?
Yeah, right.
I'm thinking about selling mine.
Jesus.
But 95 grand, it's become unbelievable.
Well, Russell, everything I have is available for sale at the right price.
Including his soul.
What about your dignity? Is that for sale? Can I buy that?
Dignity's not for sale, but his soul. He'll sell his
Russell,
soul.
if I had any dignity left, I'd sell it. But
The club's taking all
but
the
the dignity goes cheap, mate.
Yeah.
What was that? Something about, and this is going to be disturbing for a brief moment, about the dangers of electricity. Don't do this.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, right. He was okay though, wasn't he? He was all right.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
no, right.
But oops.
Oh, let's see more.
But no, everything's for sale, literally.
I've got a question. Pete, you better? You feeling better?
Yeah, we need to get Pete. We need to let Pete go to bed because Pete, you got stuff to do tomorrow.
Yes,
don't
me
you? You got to
too.
get up
I
early
just
and
want to see
stuff.
if Pete's getting better. Like, are you getting better, Pete? You good?
I am, but I need to get my beauty sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, you got the Rona.
Yes.
You bloody need to have a
We're not going
shave,
to
that's
disagree
what
with you on that account, Pete.
Is your wife, hey, Pete, is your wife better?
Yeah, she's all good. Yeah.
Is she better? Like, because she got it before you, though, didn't she? Like a couple of
Yeah,
days.
she's not even testing positive on the rats anymore.
Yeah. A friend of mine came back from Broome from a job on Monday. Him and his brother that went to the same job both got COVID from Broome.
Yeah, right.
He got back, was sick.
My family's had it. 2 of my kids and their families. The children bring it home from school.
Yes.
So many people, like, you know.
Yep.
But they got it from Broome because they're up there getting the races stuff together. So. Yeah.
Broome's a hotbed of COVID.
Yeah.
So any last pressing things this week, or before we let Pete take us out for the night?
Yeah.
We're all good.
Go ahead, Pete.
All right, Pete. So how would you take out the show?
As always, stay safe, stay sustainable, stay ahead of the curve.
Here's my pussy.
And the best way to do that is buy a Tesla, join Tokwa, and ask us anything about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. And on that note, please take care of yourselves. Russell, take care of your pussy. Oh, that's very
pussy off. There we go.
oh my God, we got a whole pussy off. We got more pussies in this room than I don't know we've ever had before. There's 3. That's very strange. Take care, everyone. Look forward to seeing you next week on Ask Us Anything. Yes. Oh,
right.
Good night.
Thank you and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good
See you next
night.
week.
Good night,
Good night,
Jessies.
Fudgy.
See you guys.